Do 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 do. Do 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 do. That's close enough.
Okay, going back to the soap operas, are we?
Well, it is the 50th anniversary this week, so I thought it would fit in. Just remind people what they could be doing instead.
There's a useless fact that I had no idea about.
Pop culture, man. Pop culture.
Does EastEnders count as pop culture?
Some people make a very poor informed decision to watch it, so yes.
Okay. Alrighty, welcome to the Button Mash Podcast. I'm Meroka, and that was our theme tune, EastEnders, sung by Michael.
Hello.
We're joined this week, as always, by Will.
Hi.
And we are also joined by two people who apparently don't know the meaning of the word guest. We have Alzorath.
Hello.
And we have Tulkas.
Rejoice.
Both of whom I think have just been sat in the mumble chat for the last 7 days waiting for us to come back.
I'm very hungry.
Sure.
Please bring me food.
I have a bone to pick with you, Mr. Meroka.
Hello.
You've taken away my segue privilege.
Oh, we have. In your absence, we took the executive decision to move over onto the Button Mash Empire channel.
You realise now I contribute absolutely nothing to this podcast.
You can segue into other people's channels.
Oh dear.
Oh.
And you can segue into my Patreon campaign.
No, hell will freeze over.
And you can do a theme tune.
Yeah, I need to actually know what other people's YouTube channels are.
Well, why don't you ask them?
Ooh, this could be a segue in itself. My fellow guests. You know, I'm depressed. I wish I could watch a good YouTube channel with some good video gameplay.
Good luck.
Oh, thank you.
That doesn't exist, no. They're all terrible.
Alright, fair enough.
I am at youtube.com/Tulkas the Valiant.
Thank you. We're waiting for someone to say that.
One person gets it.
One man knows how to do a segue. One man will come to us in our time of need to finish the segues.
It's not the channel you want, it's the channel you need. And I am Alzorath, the one who never shuts up except whenever it's inappropriate for him not to talk.
Okay.
And, yeah, you'll see it down in the description.
Yeah, we'll give you all another shout out at the end, like we do. Shameless self-promotion and whatnot, yo. Alrighty,
It's the only thing we offer.
Yeah. Let's do what we do. Let's do some podcasting then. We are the Button Mash Podcast. We're going to be talking about video games and video game accessories. We'll be here for the next couple of hours or so, aiming for around the 2 hour mark. We overshot it quite a bit last week. Thanks, guests.
You're welcome.
Our pleasure.
Rome Total Warmans, man. They're where it's at.
I had heard that, yes. So we're talking about what we've been playing this week, gaming experiences for the past week, and then upcoming news and gaming releases for the forthcoming week. So without further ado, let's talk about what we've been playing.
I've been playing more Darkest Dungeon.
Last week, no one wanted to say everything. Now everyone wants to say everything.
Yes, because that's the fun part.
Let's do this alphabetical then. Go on, Al. You're going to be first every week now.
Yay!
We need to do a better way. We need to roll a dice for this.
Well, we're almost at the point where we could have a D6. We just need one more person.
Yeah, true.
Anyway, I've been playing a lot of Darkest Dungeon. Sadly, I'm addicted, and I'm looking for higher challenges on it. I've already been told I should do a torchless and no visiting the stress-reducing places run.
Have you actually finished the game then?
No, there's still 2 dungeons left to be released, so...
Oh, right. Because, I mean, from what I'd heard tell of it, it was, like, ridiculously, brutally impossible, and very, very few people actually managed to complete it at all, so...
So far, I'm having pretty good luck. I've gone through the bosses without even much of a hassle, so... But I'm only level 3.
That doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot to me, to be fair, so...
It's halfway to max level.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is there, like, a permanent progression in it, or...?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Well, sort of. Your town can continually get stronger, but your heroes, when they die, they're permanently dead.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, roguelite.
Sort of.
Yeah.
as light as you can get in a
Yeah, I was going to say that controversial
Lovecraftian
term.
world.
Yes.
It's
Alrighty.
rogue dark.
Fair enough. Anything else, or have you just been sat playing that straight while waiting for us to come back to do the podcast?
Well, it's the only place that I've been able to be. A dark dungeon in the Button Mash podcast.
Two are very comparable, yes.
Chained in the Button Mash dungeon, playing Dark Dungeon.
Been doing a little bit of Binding of Isaac, a little bit of Vagante, Town of Salem, just on the side, but Darkest Dungeon.
So mostly
99%
things
of it.
involving dungeons. You are the dungeon man.
Yes. I am the dungeon master,
Indeed.
but I forgot my
Okay.
dice.
You're a terrible dungeon master. Alrighty. Michael, have you played anything?
You know damn well what I've been playing this week.
Oh, do tell of
Why
your
don't you
I
depravity.
have
Tell the
lost
good
my
people.
dignity and £6 on Honey Pop. Thanks solely to you, John Biggin.
Oh my word. Oh,
I
my
think
word.
you might need to share for the guests why I've been forced to suffer this indignity.
We had a little running bet for a few weeks back, which was we've been sort of briefly touched on this last week, but there's two games that we've been following on the Steam releases for a few months now, since about October, for both of them probably. Well, one being Raven's Cry, pirate RPG thing that I've had my eye on, and the other was Reverse Side, which I played the demo of last week, and was awful. And we were like, well, both of them have been now slipping for about 4 months. Every week it's like, oh, these games are coming out soon, these games are coming out soon. And I was like, well, then we may decide to make a wager. Which one would come out first? I bet on Raven's Cry. Michael here bet on Reverse Side.
I'm sorry,
I-
Michael.
I regretted it every day since. So
As a
now,
consequence, Michael has now been enjoying the experience of Honey Pop.
enjoy is a strong word.
You're not appreciating it?
No. It's terrible. It has no redeeming feature whatsoever.
Really?
No.
None whatsoever?
Oh, I don't know. If you like Bejeweled, maybe, but that
I do
kind
like
of
Bejeweled, but hey.
it loses its charm after a while, in between the awful chat-up lines.
I'll say, I mean, I've watched, at this point, a few YouTubers playing it because I seem to be subscribed to the kind of people who cover that kind of content, which maybe says more about me than anything else, I don't know, but... I will say the Bejeweled side of things actually genuinely does seem reasonably interesting. It seems like it's a little bit more complex than just Bejeweled is just like move 1, gem 1, space match 3, move 1, gem 1, space match 3. It seems like there's actually some interesting strategic elements to it, which actually seems like it could make it interesting. I don't know. If you could just give me that on its own, I'd probably be okay with that. I could sit and play that.
Yeah, but I also have to give the stupid Japanese anime girls bears and stuff. It's rather frustrating.
Like I said, the bear, like I say, if you just treat it as a strategic move, it's like, oh, this converts these coloured pieces into a different coloured piece, which you can then use to make better matches. It's like, and improve your multipliers and stuff. Yeah. Okay.
So what exactly is this game? Like, it
I
sounds
thought
like a dating sim mixed with Bejeweled.
That's
It
exactly
is.
what it is.
Yep.
Okay.
So I'm
Wow.
frustrated because everyone's a bitch.
It is. If you've looked up any of the trailers or anything behind it, because it did hit the press at the time because it was just so terribly cringeworthy bad. You get the impression the entire thing is written by some pickup artist type character, and it's just like all the characters are massive stereotypes and ridiculous characters. It's like nobody actually talks like this. Everyone's ridiculously extreme, and all the women just seem to swear constantly for the sake of swearing. It's like, most people don't do this. These are the most foul-mouthed women I've ever heard in my life.
And they're temperamental bitches.
I need to introduce you to Maud.
Right.
Oh. Wow.
It's...
I actually facepalm at the concept of that. Just wow. No.
It's a very, very strange thing. It
I'm
seems
gonna
like...
I'm gonna have to pick it up and play it.
Like I say, the gameplay actually does seem reasonably compelling to me, so I'm kind of tempted to myself. I just don't. I might have to find a store that doesn't give you it on your Steam library, because I don't want that shit on my Steam library.
No, if I've lost my pride, you're losing yours, damn it.
Hey, I didn't lose any wages.
Maybe you should put it in the background of the podcast.
Oh, good lord, no. Well, no, for starters, I don't want to get my channel banned.
Aw.
It is pornographic.
Okay.
I will stress that much. Well, the Steam version is not supposed to be,
Censored.
but apparently they don't censor it that much.
I haven't quite got to the sexy bits yet, so
All right.
I will keep you informed if you're desperate to know.
So
You've got to break more jewels to get to the sexy bits.
yeah.
Yeah,
It was because Jesse Cox, I think, was playing the Steam version, and it definitely had nipples, if nothing else.
Anime nipples, oh no.
Anime nipples, indeed. Hey, people have been banned over less. Or at least exactly
Sadly,
that.
yes. Actually, I remember that story.
Are you thinking of Milby?
Yes.
I was thinking of Milby, yes.
Just the nipple slip and it's like, boom, gone.
Yep. So that can happen. Censor your videos thoroughly, people. Because YouTube doesn't like the nudity.
I'll remember that next time I put out a YouTube video.
About
Yeah.
gratuitous nudity.
Yeah,
Like you do on your channel.
Yeah,
You just gotta
I'll
put it under
pasties
medical
on.
video.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, that's true.
Just put it as a medical video and say it's a psychological experiment that involves nudity.
Anime medical videos. That's a new
Yes.
genre.
Game the system.
That's distinctly new.
The tentacles are just there for the hell of it.
Well, it's using octopi for medicinal purposes.
They're like
That's what it
leeches,
is.
except
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's Honey Pop, I guess. Like I say, it's kind of weird that it just seemed like all the women that have played it that I know of all seem to be really, really into it, and all the guys are like, this is kind of creepy and weird and terrible, and I don't want to play more of this.
That is exactly how I feel.
Yeah. And then you've got, like, Total Biscuit's wife and Dodger all like, this is such a good game, I can't wait to play more of this, I want to play more of this game. We're like, what are you seeing in it? This game is clearly... It feels as though it's supposed to be marketed at lonely men, i.e. me. But at the same time, it seems to be the women that appreciate the game the most.
Because you know you're supposed to be ashamed to play this game.
This game is solely
It's
for
fine
people
for
who,
women to play it.
It's ironic if they play it, I guess.
Yeah,
yes.
exactly.
This game is solely for people who
Whereas
feel like
it's
they
just
haven't had a
pathetic.
shower in a while.
Anime girls and crotch rot.
Winning combinations.
Oh dear.
The
Very
images the podcast is going to give these people.
We've done
Yep.
worse.
Okay.
good. I'm quite sure we have, yes. Alrighty. I delved back into Life is Strange because I needed to find out what happens when you touch the pregnancy test.
Oh, go on, do tell.
I went back and did that myself too.
Oh, I was so tempted.
She just gets really angry at you.
Yeah.
I was
You
tempted
don't even
to
have
do-
to scrub your
That
hands.
makes perfect sense.
I was tempted to do a second run and just be a real bitch to everyone.
Well, I haven't finished the second run through, but I was kind of just going through making the opposite decisions of everything I did first time. First time I was like, oh, I'm gonna be good and be a force for good and make everything nice and right and just. And then second
Did
time I
it
was like,
actually change anything for you?
I haven't run into any noteworthy consequences of any of my decisions yet, but obviously, like I say, this is still kind of
The first
like
chapter.
within like the first half hour of the girl's day within the game, you know.
Because
I've kind of made it to the dormitories. That's about it.
I've been kind of curious if it's got the same kind of illusion of choice that like The Walking Dead had, where it
Yeah.
doesn't really change it that much, but you feel like you're getting choices.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to find out what the case is, because a lot of it sounds like it's going to do something. Obviously, they give you the little butterfly in the corner that says, "Oh, this is an important decision you've just made," and I don't know. I've not seen the consequences. Obviously, there's the first two consequences involve various school bully type characters, and you can either sort of play nice with them or mess with them. And it's like, "Oh, we know where you live," and it's like, okay, what's going to happen here? Are they going to trash my room at some point then? Is that what's going to happen? I don't know. But yeah, the pregnancy test, I presume... I did rewind it afterwards. I think I rewound afterwards. Can't remember whether I could commit to that decision or not. Because it's one of those ones where you can rewind with the knowledge of something else and then change the conversation. Because if you talk to her, or you just kind of chat to her. And then if you sort of poke around her room, she's got baby books and things and appointments at the clinics. And for whatever reason, she doesn't give a flying crap about anything else that you do. You can poke around through all of her books and private letters and things, and she doesn't give a toss. And then the moment you touch the pregnancy test, she flips her shit. Then you can rewind and go back to talk to her again, and it's like, is there something on your mind? And you'll get into a conversation, and then you can actually talk about it. And
live with the fact that you just touched somebody's used pregnancy test.
It's okay, because we rewound time.
Yeah, but did you wash
but
your
you're still
hands?
the same person.
Because you keep everything you take.
Yeah, exactly.
So you take the pee off of that on your hand through time. So for the rest of the game, until your character washes her hands, you are handling someone else's urine. And everyone you encounter can smell it.
Filth. Pure filth.
Okay, noted. Right. If that was a consequence, that would be quite an amusing one. If every time you could walk up to another character and talk to them, there's just that, do you smell something? What's that smell?
Did you wee yourself?
Is that you?
Do you get the subtle? Do you get the option of blaming it on something else? Like it was you.
They should have implemented that. That would have been quite amusing. Although, quite a lot of work just for the consequence of touching a pregnancy test.
It's Easter eggs that are worthwhile.
Very, very elaborate Easter eggs.
Yes.
Extremely elaborate Easter eggs, yes.
Should just make a game that's all Easter eggs.
Easter egg the game.
Yep.
That probably exists.
Yeah. There's DLC the game.
I immediately thought of DLC Quest, in fact, yes. Which actually isn't that bad a game. I played that one. That's pretty good. I quite like DLC Quest. It's just a fun poke at sort of the state of the industry,
Today's, yeah. Oh, Evolve's Day 1 DLC is getting people up in their fur.
Oh, indeed it is, yeah. People don't like hats, apparently.
No.
Can't be having hats. Has anybody actually played that amongst our crew here?
No, I've been really tempted to.
So I've been tempted but haven't actually dove into it.
It's kind of out of my price range for now.
Yeah, it's kind of steep, and then there's the whole... Are you actually getting the full experience? You kind of feel like you probably wouldn't be even if you bought it. It's 35 quid for the game, but then... Oh, there's the deluxe edition, and then there's the PC Monster Race one, which...
If someone wants to donate it, I'll play it.
Yeah. So, I appreciate the humor in the Monster Race, but it's not going to get me to part with 60 quid.
No.
It's like, oh, I see what you did there. That's cute, but I'm not buying it.
They could do it much better than I think they have. As far as the kind of asymmetrical PvP and stuff, too. As it stands, it really is just run away as a monster until you're big and then turn around and kill them. That's from what I can tell.
Right, I haven't really seen much gameplay, so I really can't comment on that. I didn't think there was a way to level up the monster without killing people. I thought the whole point of the monster was you kill people and then level up by killing them.
You kill wild animals.
Oh, right. Okay. That
you basically
seems
eat
like
to
cheating.
grow.
And then the hunters don't actually get to improve at all, do they?
I don't know about that one. I don't think so.
I think
I've only
it's
watched
just-
it from the monster's perspective, so...
That just sounds like the monster just eats wild animals until it becomes unkillable. But okay.
It still takes damage, but...
Well, yeah, but...
yeah, it just becomes stronger.
Yeah, like by the time it's level, 5 or 6 or whatever the top is, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's basically hide and seek until you're big.
Okay. Yeah, as I'm looking at the DLC now. There is £70 worth of DLC.
Wow.
Already.
Most of it is skins, though. There are just different skins. There's the Season Pass, which I guess, in theory, should be getting you a lot of the content, but I had also heard there were, 2 different Season Passes as well, although I can't see it on the store at the minute.
I heard one... some of the stuff you can't get with the normal season pass.
Yeah, that's right. I had heard there's like 2 different season passes, and you need to buy both to get them or something. Is that right? There's like the Hunter season pass and then the
Something like
Monster
that.
season pass, I thought.
Like the monster race one.
Yeah, the Monster
think
Race,
it's-
what have we got in there? We've got Evolve, the Hunting season pass, which I presume means all future hunters. A 5th playable monster, 2 additional hunters, and 4 monster skins.
So that's like
So-
all the DLC, and
I would bloody hope it's all the DLC for 60 quid.
it's $100 in the US.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Whenever it crosses that 3-digit line, it kind of
Yeah.
knows me. just big old nope.
Indeed. Yeah, looking at the DLC individually, it seems like I said, there's the Hunter season pass, and then there's just a ton of skins, and I can't see if there's any way to buy the extra 5th playable monster, the 2 extra
And-
hunters.
Why
Are
are
they-
2 of the skins more expensive?
Probably because they're much prettier. I don't know. Are they the monster skins? Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's the monster skins that are bigger.
Okay,
that are
okay.
bigger prices.
$7.
More expensive. Yeah. So I don't know, bigger skin, bigger price, or something. I don't know. I guess that's how that works. I'm just wondering, it's like with the like you say, the 5th playable monster, 2 additional hunters, and you can't seem to get them anywhere else. Do you have to buy the monster race to get all the content then?
I
'Cause
think
that's
you
not
have.
a good way of doing that.
I think you have to buy it to get the 5th playable monster.
So if you don't buy the monster race pack, there is no way of getting that extra content. That content is
I'm-
exclusive to that. Is that?
I'm
Seriously
reading the
correct?
Evolve PC Monster Race Edition. It says, take the hunt, blah, blah, blah. The Evolve Hunting Season Pass is boost your hunting party, includes 4 new hunters, 3 exclusive Magma Monster skins for 1 low price, and a 5th playable character is just kind of its own thing sitting right there. So are the 2 hunters.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Which makes it sound like you need to buy the £60, $100 pack just to get everything. Otherwise, you're literally losing out by not buying it, compared to someone who did.
So you get more hunters, whether it's the Digital Deluxe or the PC Monster Race, but you don't get the extra monster in the Evolve Digital.
This is the problem. The fact that we have to have this discussion tells you it's too complicated in the first place. The fact that we're sitting here going back is like, so what do you get? Is you've taken it too far.
Hell, just give us the core game and then let us buy each character we want individually,
Yeah.
like LOL or something.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I have
That'd be
heard,
straightforward at least.
we have heard more than a few people saying it should have been a free-to-play thing. If they're going to go down that much DLC, it should have just been free-to-play and then just sell everything bit by bit.
But most of the DLC, thankfully, right now is skins. But
Yeah. But then there's those few things like your playable monsters
Yeah.
and stuff.
yeah, if it's a playable thing that is different from the others, then it shouldn't really be blocked by a paywall, especially on day 1.
No, I agree. The thought is maybe that they may well be looking to release it sort of as DLC down the line, maybe? Like a timed exclusive kind of deal?
Possibly, but
Which is less unforgivable, but still not great.
yeah, it's just one of these things where, and I've heard that that's not even the worst. But I've heard that there's problems with the actual game itself. So
Okay.
yeah,
It does have
As
mixed
you noticed,
reviews
yeah.
on Steam, yeah. 7,000 reviews, sort of all over the place. Yeah.
I guarantee you that some of them are people whining about the DLC stuff, even though
Oh, yeah,
most
yeah.
of it is cosmetic. Most, not all, but most.
Yeah, the
unfortunately.
second one down on the list on the page here for me is negative review. You must buy the customer reviews DLC to view this content.
Yeah, that's just pissing around.
Yeah.
Of course, 300 people found it funny, so least
So
if
of
you
course
just-
that means that goes to the top of the Steam
Yeah.
reviews, because that's obviously how we judge our reviews, by their
how
humor content.
comical they
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
That's how it's always been, isn't it?
Uh-huh. Yes, I seem to recall that's how official Nintendo magazine did it back in the day as well. This was
Who are you talking
witty
about?
That's how
jokes.
everything goes.
It's how I pick my politicians. Shut up.
Why is Boris Johnson mayor of
That-
London?
That does explain Boris Johnson a lot. It really does. Yeah. So, it also might explain. Well, it doesn't explain why the Monster Raving Looney Party never got voted in. By that
This is
logic,
true.
they should be in power. They should be running this country by now.
They're running it in secret. It's like the Illuminati.
The monster raving Illuminati.
Yep.
Brilliant.
Okay.
Well done.
Cool. So none of us actually touched Evolve, so we've got a good amount of talking about a game we've never played.
I know. I'd
Yeah.
love to play it. I really would, but not
It's
right
just
now.
too expensive for what it is.
Yeah.
I think probably later down the line there's going to be some Ultimate Edition where they bundle everything in, and then that'll go on sale in a Steam sale, and you can probably pick up everything for like 15-20 quid.
I'll
At that
totally buy
point,
it then.
Yeah, at that point, probably I might well spring for that, to be honest. That I could probably
There's
get
other
behind.
games I would like to buy first. I actually want to try a Grey Goo, speaking of newer games,
Oh, yes.
because that looks very promising. I just can't bring myself to pay, what is it, $50? In US at least.
30 quid here.
Yeah, for a game that, honestly, yeah, it's might be a good game, but you're not going to have too many people to play against, because not everyone's going to have that much money.
Sure. Is that? I don't know. I thought that was fairly noteworthy as far as RTSs went. I thought
Yeah,
a lot-
it's supposedly really good, but it's the same price tag as, say, StarCraft. So, with way smaller audience.
I guess I wonder. Given that it's an RTS, I mean, it's not like you need. It's not like you need loads and loads of players to play against. You
Yeah, you just need someone to play against.
need someone.
So.
Yeah. So I wouldn't have thought that would have been the biggest issue it would have had.
A lot of people are recommending it, though, still. So,
I heard it was supposed to be pretty good. Yeah.
what's sad, this is just more evidence of how Metacritic sucks. It's got a lower Metacritic score than Evolve, despite
Okay.
being mostly positive reviews for it.
Yeah. How's it? Well, I suppose. Well, Metacritic's an awful way to judge things anyway. So
Yeah. I don't know why
how's it
they still
compare
even
on
include it
Steam
on
rating?
Steam. On
How's it-
Steam rating?
Yeah, as in, is it well recommended?
Mostly
or-
positive. 77% of the 766 reviews are positive.
Well, that sounds better. I mean, like I say, no one really knows how Metacritic works, and it's all over the place. You can't really.
Yeah.
It's not a good way to judge. Whereas at least with the Steam reviews, you can usually be pretty sure. You can figure out what you're getting into with that. You can filter out the joke shit and just find something that's find a decent review that's well recommended. Find some positive ones, find some negative ones, and get a handle on it.
Honestly, if I was going to give something a score, I'd just say, this is how much I would pay for it. Now that I've actually tried it.
That's actually a really interesting way of doing that. Has anyone ever done that before?
Here and there, but it's never really stuck because, well, inflation and currency conversion.
Yeah, right. Currency conversion is not too big a deal. I suppose inflation is probably a bigger issue.
Yep.
Also, again, I suppose it's maybe not the strongest way to rate a game, just on the basis that everybody's kind of got different spending power and different sort of ideas of value. Some people probably quite gladly drop $60 on a game and not play it a whole lot. It's probably not a big deal to them. For
I
other
generally
people, $60
go.
is a huge investment.
I generally go with a cost per enjoyment kind of thing. Like, if it's a good hour that I enjoyed the game, yeah, I'd pay $5 for that. But if it's something I spent like 40 something hours on, I'd spend closer to 20 or 30. I'm very cheap.
Right.
I don't
Well-
believe in $60 games anymore with digital distribution, at least.
No, there's no real justification for that.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the reason of putting that price tag on in the first place is the cost of physical distribution, and that just doesn't exist. Well, I suppose it does on consoles, but you can't justify that on PC.
Back in the day, I could understand it $60 for a cartridge because those things were really sophisticated in like the amount of work that went into them.
And also the whole
Compared
thing
to,
about
like,
how
a
like
CD.
the consoles were underpriced, but then the games were overpriced to make up for that.
Oh, that
was
still
their-
happens.
That was their
yeah.
publishing model.
It's a loss model. A lot of businesses do it various things. Retail often does it by, ones that have, say, a bakery or something like that, they'll lose money on the bakery just to get you in the store, and then they'll sell you higher price, just like canned goods. Just a comparison there.
Yeah, with the consoles, that's been done since forever. They sell the consoles at a loss and make it back on the games, which, there's one of the consoles was really bad for that as well. Was it the Wii?
That was just really bad in general, wasn't it?
I was like, well, there was... yes.
PlayStation 2 had a huge loss on it.
I seem to recall there was one console that it was like they sold loads and loads of consoles, but most of the people who bought the consoles only ever bought like one game for it, and I have a feeling
Vita?
It was the Wii. No.
No, not on the Vita?
No,
that was just overpriced.
I don't know.
Everyone just chipped the PS2 and got
This is
knockoff
true,
games,
there's a
didn't
lot
they?
of
So
that going
was
around.
probably PlayStation was never great until the PS3.
Although I think, as I say, it was the Wii, but haven't Nintendo always actually... I think Nintendo have always been one of the people that actually always did make money on the consoles because they managed to make them cheap enough that they didn't lose money on them.
They've never been like the super high tier of the consoles, so they didn't really have to pay as much, so yeah. They were able to keep costs down.
Weaker than other stuff as well, though. With the exception of the N64, which was amazing. After that, they were like, you know what, let's just not put the effort in anymore.
Casual.
Oh no, I recently got a Cube, and it's still like one of my favorite consoles ever.
Oh yeah, but compared to the power of the competitors,
Yeah.
it wasn't a strong console. You know, technically speaking, in terms of specification, it was lower powered and presumably by extension cheaper to make.
Mm.
I'm not critiquing the quality of the games. Like, no, the GameCube was a fantastic console. I love the GameCube, but I can't.
But then you have to come into the whole discussion of, was it such a great console because of the licenses, or was it such a great console because of the actual console? Because a lot of the times it's just the games on there what make it.
Well, yeah, of course they are. I mean, the console on its own can't really do much on its own.
Yeah.
Of course not.
Although now some of them are shipping with stuff on them, like the not DS, the 3DS and stuff like that will ship with stuff on it, software.
Oh, right. Yeah. What, as in games?
Well, no, but just things you can do on them.
Well, yeah, the DS had some, like, the original DS had, like, a little chat software on it, and it was ridiculous. It's like, yeah, it has chat software, but you can only use it when you're within talking range of the person you're chatting to. It's like, I could just talk
Slight
to
design
them
flaw there.
instead of doodling to them.
I could just text you instead. I could be really antisocial and just text you instead.
If I was in the business of texting, you know, we're probably not within talking distance anyway.
Mm.
Unless, like you say, you just want to be really antisocial. And hey, this was back in the day before you had reasonable phone plans, so texting would have cost money. At least for me, anyway. I don't know about anyone else. So, you know, get the DS out. I could send messages for free there. As long as you're within 20 feet of me. Or whatever the range is on it. It's not a big range. Like I say,
At least it wasn't like the original Game Boy, where you had to have the cable connected between the two of them.
Oh yeah.
Well, at least you were playing a game when you're doing that. Is like I say, this was literally just a chat client.
You can also there's a photo thing for the classic Game Boy. You could exchange photos.
Oh, the Game Boy camera.
Yeah.
I saw one of those at the market the other week. I was very tempted by that.
I can't believe you didn't buy that. That's amazing.
What? I didn't have a printer. What am I gonna do with it? You need to buy the Game Boy printer as well to go with it.
Oh.
Have you seen Ashen's video on it?
No.
Oh. I'll just recommend, go watch Ashen's after the podcast. He's amazing. I don't know if have you watched any of his stuff?
I am familiar with Ashen's, yes. I've not watched a lot of his stuff.
He's been doing Nintendo coverage lately.
Oh,
like
right.
the Game Boy accessories specifically.
Apec's a big fan of him. He seems to do cool stuff.
I've watched him eating terrible food from Poundland.
Oh god. My first video that I watched of his was the pizza.
I think it was the pizza one I've seen, yes.
Yeah. And he's just like gagging on it. The dog won't even eat it. And I just ate something that looked like that about an hour ago.
Nice.
You should have filmed it.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
could have the YouTube views.
Oh no!
Alzorath
I don't
eats
have a
terrible
brown
pizza.
couch though. I am lacking
Is
a brown couch.
Is the brown couch integral to the whole operation?
Yeah, green couch just wouldn't work.
Do you not know how YouTube works, John?
Apparently not. No, I haven't got a clue. Maybe that's why my videos never took off. It doesn't have a brown couch in it. Only
I
brown
want you
couch
to.
is
I want you to
necessary.
incorporate this now into all your videos, where it just starts with a shot of a brown couch and just goes into the gameplay.
I'm gonna go
couch
to
is
your
brown,
house.
so
I'm gonna
could
go to
do
your
that.
house on the Strangeland server, and I'm gonna build a couch in your house, a brown couch,
Oh dear.
and you have to start there every day.
I don't have any interior decoration yet. So yeah, go ahead.
The views are coming.
Sweet. Well, I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting
Or
2.5
maybe I should
years for
build
my
your-
moment in the limelight.
I should encompass your house in a giant brown couch.
That might be going a touch too far.
And I won't light up on the inside.
Oh god. I will just set it on fire.
Okay. Note to self, use brown clay.
Oh god. In that case, I will need a lot of TNT.
Okay. Fixer will help you with it.
I'm sure he will.
This is
I'm quite sure a lot of people will be quite happy to aid in that one.
this is escalated quickly.
Yep.
Indeed.
That's how we roll on Strangelands.
Yay, Strangeland!
Escalation and demolition.
And killing of mules. While I'm riding them.
Yes. Well, to be fair, he wasn't aiming for the mule, he was aiming for you.
Yeah, but he
Mule was
missed
just an
me.
unfortunate accident.
I still think it landed just on the mule, and I just happened to be like just enough off of the block.
I think that was what happened, yeah. The mule must have had a bigger hitbox and got caught by the falling anvil.
Yep. Poor Mrs. Bryan. What a great ass.
Everyone had a ride.
I still have her dirt somewhere.
Her dirt, okay.
Yeah, she had dirt on her. In her
She was a dirty
satchel.
ass.
Yes. A very dirty ass.
Oh god.
So now that we're going downhill very quickly, maybe we should segue into some news that's also downhill.
Well, okay, what else has anyone else been playing then? Anyone been playing anything good?
Just a lot of Sky Saga, I guess.
Sky Saga, yes.
as well,
I played
you
a bunch
know.
with you, obviously, yes.
Yeah.
So there's a few videos going up on my channel soon that will be us playing Sky Saga together. We have
I
enough
wish I could get that here.
soon, maybe, probably.
Not guaranteed.
I don't know when, but it is available in Europe now, so Europeans may play it.
As with every developer, it's trademarked soon. In
TM soon,
quotations.
yes, yeah. The Blizzard trademark, I think that one is.
It seems like all of them have it nowadays. No
Well,
one wants to
Blizzard-
give an exact date.
Blizzard was the one I first saw use it with the trademark. But yeah, everybody, it seems to be the going thing. What else did it recently? Something else fairly significant that was like, oh, when it's done. I can't remember what that was now. Oh, Spiral
crap.
Knights, duh.
Ah.
Yes. That with the year-long Gunner update wait. Which you guys won't be familiar with, but yeah, they promised an update. They're like, yeah, we're gonna have this in a month's time, and then it was like another month, and then after that it was like, when it's done.
I keep thinking about picking it up and just like playing it, but then I get through my days off and I'm like, wait, I forgot to. I didn't have time.
Oh,
It's unfortunate.
yeah.
It looks like a really fun game though. So
It is really compelling. Yeah, I've kind of got into the stage where I've got enough resources that I can start building interesting things. So now I'm sort of turning my home island into something interesting. I don't know what, but it's interesting, if nothing else.
I think I'm just going to build up. I'm just going to make a huge tower.
Right. Okay.
do
Yeah,
what
that's-
everyone
that-
does in Minecraft: make a giant golden penis and get it over with.
I don't think there are any golden blocks, so I don't know how you do that. I
Are
can't
there
do
any yellow blocks?
Make it out of alabaster.
Yeah, you could make a giant white penis. There are.
Albino peni.
There is thatch. I guess you could make it out of thatch.
That sounds incredibly uncomfortable.
Well, only if you own it.
And itchy.
Everyone's gonna tell you to shave it.
I did contemplate with the idea because most of the base they give you is kind of underground. Was like, I wonder if I could just sort of remove the roof of it and just have it open so it's daylight. Because it's a very dingy kind of dungeon affair. They kind of give you. And I'm like, can we just have this outside where it's nice and light and sunny? I want some sunlight in my base.
I suppose you could.
Although with the dynamic lighting, that would only work at like midday. The rest of the day, you'd still be plunged into darkness. So I don't know how well that would work.
Right.
We do have the resources between us now to do some of the hard level missions. So we're going to have to tackle that soon.
Yes.
I think.
I've got all gold armor now. I've got my golden hammer, obviously, from our run.
Cool.
And a sword and a stone shield, which is incredibly useful.
Yes, the shield's fantastic once you get that.
Love that.
I've got two of them now.
I've got two. So
I've got a white one and a blue one.
I don't even need to worry about that for a long time.
Can you dual wield shields?
Oh, we have to try it.
I don't know what use it would be, but I want to try it now.
I'm opening it now to try it.
Do you have to?
Yes.
No, I don't mean do you have to. Do you have two, as in the number?
Yeah.
Do you have two of them? Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I like how you're not stopping me from doing it.
Oh, no. I don't need your entire attention.
I've never understood why games don't let you dual wield shields most of the time. Have you ever been hit with a giant slab of metal? It hurts.
There was a really weird combination in Final Fantasy Tactics A2 that I guess totally was possible. It was possible to dual wield shields in that. The idea never occurred to me until like the last level in the game, where they send you up against a mage that's carrying two different shields that both absorb. One absorbs like fire, one absorbs like ice, and they're also wearing like a lightning robe that absorbs lightning. And because they're a mage, they don't need an actual melee weapon or anything. So it's just shield on one arm, shield on the other, robe, and they're just immune to all types of elemental damage. It was like, that's
awesome,
really
actually.
clever. Yeah. The amount of work you'd actually have to put in to actually get that to work, because dual wielding that game actually requires you to invest quite a lot of resources into a character just to actually get it to a stage where that would be functional. So getting that on a mage and allowing a mage to carry shields in the first place requires a considerable amount of effort and resources and stuff to actually make that work.
Grind.
So, yes, grind.
Well,
Yeah.
I am currently dual wielding shields as we speak. It works.
I don't know how much use you're going to be in combat, but
I'll just tank all the damage.
You are the walking
I don't think
wall.
it works like
No,
that.
it doesn't
though.
really work like that because you're just draining stamina
You
either
just-
way.
yeah. It's entirely reliant on your stamina meter. With that in mind, I've never tested it. What's the difference between the wooden shields and the stone shields then? Because surely they would do similar things.
Never had a wooden shield.
I've had quests to make wooden shields, so I think I've made some, but I've never used them. I need to check that out.
I just went straight on to making loads and loads of gold stuff because I found tons of gold.
Fair enough. Can't argue with that.
No.
Although I did find a recipe to make some wolf boots.
Oh, I'm
Boots
currently
for wolves
trying.
or made out of wolves?
Made out of.
Darn.
I've got a recipe to make a wolf.
I suppose that the wolf could wear them if it wanted to. There could be a wolf wearing a wolf.
A wolf
Yo, dog,
in wolf's
I heard you like
clothing?
wolves.
Sick. That's just sick.
You've gone too far now.
Yo, dog, I heard you liked wolves.
I like watering plants with apple juice and feeding pigs bacon.
So yeah, the
It's my-
wolf boots, they seem to protect you from the elements more than actual combat, so I guess it'd be useful in the snowy levels.
Yeah, I've got a recipe for a wolf breastplate. So
But you need to
even
level
more
up some
wolfy,
skills, right?
even more wolfy fashion there.
Nice, nice. Well, I would buy it off you if we had some sort of trading system that was practical.
Well,
Viable.
when I've got the skills to make it, I'll just give you one because I'm sure they're not difficult to make.
I
It's
have
a lot of wolf pelts. I've got a lot of wolf pelts.
Fair enough. I have the recipe for the trading boxes that actually does allow me to trade with other players, but it requires you to be a level 1 explorer. And the problem with the level 1 explorer is it's the one that's got all the fucking stupid quests that I can't complete. The go collect some pumpkins. No, there's no pumpkins in the game. Don't be silly. Go collect some ice. No, there's no ice in the game. Don't be silly. It's like, God damn you! I can't even decline these quests. I can't get rid of them until I do them, and I can't do them.
It just reminds you that it's not yet a fully finished product,
Even though
it looks it. It's not.
I wouldn't mind if they were in different sort of categories, if they were like had them spread out through my different sort of skills. But the fact that they're both on my exploration one, which means I've only got one quest I can do for exploration, which doesn't reward much XP. It just makes leveling up exploration for me really slow. I did find like a couple of pumpkins dropped from like bandits last night though.
Yeah.
So I think they dropped from them, but it does seem to be really rare. So
does that count?
Yeah, because
good.
it looted from either looted from the world or looted from mobs. It both counts as harvesting. So
good.
But yeah, those are the most frustrating quests in the world. I still don't know where you get ice from though.
No, not a clue.
It may be that maybe that sort of thing appears in maybe the hard levels.
I'm sure we'll find out soon enough.
Maybe. I'm still concerned my gear's not going to be remotely good enough to do that. I think I'm just going to get crushed.
Well, if yours isn't, mine definitely isn't. I've lost all my rose iron. Somebody looted that from my cold, dead body.
Oh dear. Yeah, I made my wolf boots out of rose iron and wolf. So I feel like they must
Iron
be
and
pretty
wolf.
good.
Those are the
Iron
manliest boots ever.
I don't know. I could make an iron and bear boots.
Oh,
I hope that's a thing. I hope there's a bear option.
there must be.
There are bear skins.
I hate that you like have to differentiate all the meat.
That's kind of annoying.
What? And you get meat from people as well. You can eat people meat.
It's lamb.
You get lamb from warriors.
Yes.
Oh, right.
When you hover over it in your inventory, it doesn't say person meat.
It
says lamb meat. They're just carrying food around with them, and you're just taking their food off them when you slay them, presumably.
I do think it would be
You're trying
awesome if
to-
a game did let you eat your like PvP victims.
Oh, God.
Exactly.
I have killed you. Let me eat your flesh.
There is a very dark game concept all of a sudden.
I guarantee you it will be made by Christmas.
Cannibalism Simulator 2015.
I would buy it, and I would make a video out of that one.
Okay, then. Well, there's
I would
your,
put
your
it
audience,
right-
game devs.
I
Where
would
can
put it
people go to
right
see your
with my
cannibalism
Darkest
video?
People are tasty.
It depends what sauce you marinate them in.
Soylent sauce.
Yeah.
Green goddess.
Okay, right. Well, that's cannibalism.
Hey, at least I wasn't talking about eating babies.
You have a real way for turning conversation slightly dark. Okay. Anyone want to lighten the mood?
No.
No?
I think we just,
Okay.
Hey, Jay,
We should
You don't
happiness,
want me to say
joy,
what I was thinking about
jubilation,
saying. Because I used to have a friend who knew a lot of dead baby jokes, so I know a few.
I will appreciate it if you don't share the dead baby jokes.
Okay.
I think so would the listeners, to be honest. Although
No one's ever expressed a demand for dead baby jokes.
I'm sure there is a demand for it out there, but I don't think my channel is it. However, if you do want to go get your daily complement of dead baby jokes, you can find that over at youtube.com/Alzorath. Which
That
is
just
now going
doesn't
to have to be
usually-
a thing.
I'm going to have to make dead baby jokes at the end of each video.
Alzorath's dead baby of the day joke.
I already have 700 something videos to catch up on dead baby jokes. Good lord.
Oh, the depths to which we have sunk.
Indeed. So I played a steampunk airship kind of thing earlier, which I thought might be like Guns of Icarus, and it wasn't.
Oh?
It was an interesting little kind of demo, I suppose it was. They weren't marketing it as a demo, but it felt like it could have been a good demo for something else. It was just huge swarms of like 20v20 airships all duking it out, which was actually kind of cool. But at the same time, it only worked against bots. It was just one single player thing going up against, with 19 bots against 20 others, I think it was roughly. And it's like, well, if you implemented multiplayer there, that could actually be really kind of cool. But all it was deathmatch, team deathmatch, 100 lives aside, and once everyone's dead, everyone's dead. It was like, well, there's the core of a really cool game here. It looked really pretty as well. They'd certainly put a lot of effort into making it look nice, and then they hadn't done much with it. So I don't know what was going on with that. It's like, you guys, you have kind of a good thing here. You just kind of let it go? I don't know. So that's the thing I played, just to get us off dead babies, if nothing else. We also played a variety of things at the Button Mash event on Saturday, did we not, Michael?
Oh, yes, we did.
Did you play anything?
Well, I played a lot of things blind, very much blind.
Michael here was Darth Horse for the duration of the event.
I'm afraid I was defeated soundly.
By the forces of the Mastronauts,
Yep.
who kept all our colour coding because they got really attached to it.
Well,
They got into the characters really well, I like that.
who doesn't love a free bandana?
Yes. We made superheroes out of them for a day. So I thoroughly spanked one of them at Plasma Pong, and then everybody else lost their respective matches, so we lost overall. Which was like the worst possible choice for one of them to pick. The guy was like, I'll play Plasma Pong, and I will play it against you. Which when I was like, I have played Plasma Pong before.
And I played dive kick pretty much blindfolded and made a pretty good go of it.
You did really well to say you couldn't see what you were doing.
Well, to be fair, it is only 2 buttons, so...
Yeah, but it's not about seeing the buttons, it's about seeing the screen.
which I couldn't do.
But you did. You damn near won it, so that was quite impressive in and of itself.
I am a man.
And then we all lost at Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah, okay, Super Smash Bros. Was a spectacular failure.
I think everyone loses at Super Smash Brothers, unfortunately.
Unless
Well,
you're
It's
Kirby.
just chaos if you have enough people.
Yeah, unless you're Kirby, I survived a really long time. I was Kirby, and I just spent most of the match just hovering over everyone, occasionally turning to a giant weight to rain down death from above.
I think there's losing at Smash Bros. And there's what we did.
Speak for yourself. I made a very valiant effort and killed at least 2, if not 3, at some point of our Mastronauts. And yeah, I don't know about the rest of you. I feel like I did my job.
I got my arse handed to me.
Right. Who were you playing as?
Bowser, I think.
Oh, right.
That's probably why.
Kirby for life, yo. Been playing Kirby since the GameCube. And they haven't changed the character in the slightest. He's identical to the GameCube version.
It ain't broke, don't fix it.
That
Yep.
does appear to be Nintendo's mantra, yes. Release the same game on the next console.
And unfortunately
Oh.
remove the single player from it. The campaign.
Did they actually do that? Oh, I didn't know they'd done
They've
that.
done that recently, yeah, with the Smash Brothers. Because too many people were popping them up on YouTube. So they just decided to make it just the multiplayer.
What? That's crazy. What? Really? Just to counteract YouTube video?
Basically, there's no story to it. You can play against computer opponents.
That kinda sucks. And
Yeah.
Nintendo kinda sucks. God damn you, Nintendo. Stop doing stupid things.
What do you think of their little partnership program they've got going on?
Oh, I think that's ridiculous. I understand they mean well by it, but it's still a worse option than not partnering with them.
Mm-hmm.
In which you can do anything else you like on YouTube and get all of the money from it.
Pretty much.
It's the Phil Fish thing again. It's people aren't allowed to make money off of doing footage of my games. It's like, that's fine. I'll play someone else's game.
Exactly.
If you're not going to let us play your game, that's fine. Nobody's going to lose any sleep over it. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of games out there. Most of the devs are totally okay with people making YouTube content of it and monetizing it. We'll play their games instead.
Some of them are just outright fully supportive of it too.
Oh,
Not
many
just
of them are supportive.
nonchalant about it.
Mm-hmm. So when a dev's like, oh no, we're not going to allow you to do it, it's like, you know what? You're entirely within your rights to do that. That it is your content. Of course you're within your rights to do that. I'm not going to say you can't do that. Some people might get a bit salty about it, but who cares?
With the exception of reviews, of course. You're
yes, I
protected
would
with
say
reviews.
yes. Reviews, I would say, are protected under free speech. What's the word I'm looking for? It's not free speech. It's fair
Freedom
use.
of
That's the word,
press.
Yeah, fair use.
yeah, fair use is what I'm thinking of. Yeah, they're totally protected under fair use. But yeah, beyond that, yeah, like I say, you made the game. You're allowed to dictate how people use that game. Absolutely. But if you restrict people using it in a certain way that people want to, they'll just use your competitors' products. And if that involves promoting their stuff by showing it off to the world, guess what? Your competitors are going to get their product shown off to the world and not yours.
And
Simple as.
also Minecraft, not just as like this big multi-millionaire or billionaire or whatever with lots and lots of money. And that only happens because he let people make games of Minecraft, because that is what made Minecraft big, is people like Yogscast and Minecraft and all the others is constantly hyping up Minecraft. So, just Minecraft is the example that you need the reviewers and stuff.
You need
absolutely,
the crowd leaders, basically.
Yeah, those.
Yeah,
It's
with
just like
Minecraft,
the
yeah,
free
that's-
publicity.
Go on.
But because in a way, the alternative to that is marketing through advertisements. Generally video games don't appear on TV, but TV advertising, YouTube advertising, actual Google ads advertising. But YouTube advertising is so much more important than that, because people actually want to watch those ads. It's the big Geico ads, like Caveman or whatever, that have people want to watch and have people talking about them. And it's just, having YouTube ads are so much more powerful than that in a way, even games that don't necessarily benefit from YouTube, games like Minecraft and Civilization or whatever, everyone has their own storyline. But even a game like Portal 2, where you have Chell's experience every single time you play the game, even that can benefit from the YouTube advertising, because it's such a big, the YouTube quote-unquote personalities have such a big influence on what everyone else does, because they are people that people like and they want to be like them and they want to do what they do, and it's just, yeah, Meroka.
And every other country. Yeah,
Yeah, it's just social.
it's a global thing at this point.
Yeah.
It's people making free 20-30-minute adverts for products that people genuinely want to watch. Just compare it to other advertising. Yeah, it's like you watch something on TV, you're being forced to watch that. It's like they're actively inserting things that you're not interested in seeing in the middle of something you do. When we're doing games, you are effectively sitting down and saying, yes, I want to watch half an hour of someone advertising this product to me.
I wonder how many companies actually try to market, basically find their competitor's product, figure out the keywords that people search to find the competitor's product, and then advertise on those videos through AdSense. Because you can do it by
idea. That'd be
keywords.
interesting. Yeah.
I'm sure that's a whole job into and of itself.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure
Probably,
people
very
are
much so.
employed to do that.
That'd be interesting. You could see one of these
SEO.
Rome Total War channels and be type what is the name, Prince of Macedon, into the keywords channel, and just that's cool, huh?
Although I do seem to see a ridiculous amount of advertising for free-to-play stuff at the minute, which are just sort of casual mobile things. It's like...
Because
yeah,
those things are huge money sinks.
Yeah, I mean, I recognise that in that kind of market, the more advertising you sink into it, the more people will actually play it, and you actually will get a pretty good return on investment, but I don't know. It's just a kind of a gross market.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of most free-to-plays, because most of them have really predatory business practices.
On PC, mileage tends to vary dramatically, but on mobile, doesn't seem to be a whole lot of them do it particularly well. It mostly seems to be predatory stuff on mobile.
I mean, that's
I
the whole
think
thing
League
about
of
free-to-play
Legends-
is that you can't let it... If you let it be free-to-play, then you aren't getting money, so you have to make people want to play it, but then it becomes pay-to-win. Like, I mean, I think that Hearthstone does a good job of it, but I mean, like, there is a really line that you have to walk, because on the one hand, you have your... as a business maker, you do actually have to make money, and that's what a lot of people, I think, don't really understand with video games and stuff, is that you actually have to be a business person, and you actually have to make money just for the good of your company and for the good of your employees. So in a way, there are scumbaggy decisions. I nearly swore there. You, Mott, has been having a bad impact on me.
So
but
that's quite okay on this video, but hey.
I know, but you know, I have a
encourage
character,
it.
and I'm a personality. I don't know, but what was I saying? That the like you know, there are scumbaggy decisions that you have to make as a company, and people are going to attack you for them. But they are decisions that you have to make, and the problem is, like, you can please everyone some of the time, or you can please some people no of the time, and yeah, it's just that's something you have to do. But yeah, it's just free to play is a whole big market, because you have like it's a direct conflict of interest, isn't it? Because you have, on the one hand, you need to supply the game for free, and on the other hand, you want to make money off it, and it's just really difficult. So in a way, it's very difficult to do what you want to do with free to play, and I don't know, it's one of those things where it's sort of like there is no perfect answer.
League of Legends does a good job of it. Shadow Era does a good job, even though it's much smaller. It's it's possible to balance it where you have it where you can either spend the time or you can spend the money, because usually people have enough of one or the other unless they're really struggling in life, so you can really kind of balance it on that, make it accessible.
The problem I would say where that falls apart is when we're talking about mobile games, quite frequently you are talking about single-player titles.
Yep.
Which means ultimately the developers are kind of forced into this position, if they're choosing to monetize it in that way, where in order to make people, I don't know, try to value their time more, they're going to artificially stretch out the game. They're going to add a ridiculous amount more grind just to make the player feel like, if I just pay a little bit of money, I won't have to waste so much of my time doing that. But if you're I feel like if you're in a position where you feel like you're wasting your time playing the game, maybe you shouldn't be playing the game in the first place.
That's one of the reasons why I don't think free-to-play can ever honestly, in the long term, work for a single-player game. That's just my opinion. It just isn't really viable because, yeah, it's just going to always be predatory.
Mm-hmm. And you have to have a lot of content there, like, even games like Realm Total War that were mostly free-to-play, like, you know, you spend, like, a week or so, but, like, what are you going to do? Unlock another campaign or whatever? Like, okay, that actually sounds a good idea. Never mind.
I wouldn't mind them actually making games where, like, single player, if you are going to have it be microtransaction or just small purchase based, do it in chapters. Say, okay, I bought this strategy game, I'm gonna just get the first bit of the story, go through that one, and then if you liked it, you can buy another one. This would be a way to break up the cost of some of these $70 games.
You're talking more about episodic there.
Yep.
Though.
Yeah, that would be the easier way to do it, to get money out of a single game over a long stretch of time.
Which is your Life is Strange model, which I'm okay with.
Yes.
So if nothing else, it allows you to put down a small amount of money to get a taster for things, and you're like, oh, I quite like this, I'll probably buy the rest of it as well. Or,
exactly.
Well, okay, never mind, that wasn't for me. Never mind. Carry on.
Never mind, I'm only out $5.
Also, something we did discuss with Will a few weeks back was, as regards Life is Strange, we did at some point say, oh, I wish you could buy the rest of the entire game all in one go and save some money. Turns out they are actually doing that. There is a buy episodes 2 through 5 all in one go pack that they've got going on.
I just bought the whole story pack just straight up.
Well, I didn't know whether it was going to be my thing or not at first, so I was like, oh, I'll just dip my toe in the water and buy the first one, and then it was like, oh, this is really good.
That's one reason why the reason I bought it all is the reason why I don't plan on ever doing a review of it, because I actually know someone who works there.
Oh, fair enough, right,
yeah.
Right. Well, I don't think that's unreasonable to do a review of it, just as long as you make sure everything's fully disclosed, but hey. I've reviewed things for people that I know reasonably well, but I make fully clear at the start of the video, it's, hey, I know the guy who made this.
Okay.
So as long as that's fully clear right off the bat, it's like, look, I know the developer, so you know where I'm coming from. I'm probably going to be biased fairly in favor of this because I like the guy and I like the stuff he makes. There you
I
go.
like their style. I like the cut of their jib.
I do like the cut of their jib, yes. Anyway, with regards to the free-to-play stuff, that's actually interesting. That kind of ties into some news, which I hadn't actually listed down, but we can probably talk about that. If we want to take a quick break for a minute, we could come back, and we've actually got some relevant, hot off the presses news to talk about that.
Yay.
Yay.
We'll be
So,
right
let's
back
do
after
that.
these messages from our sponsors.
Flatusense, the scented suppository.
But a Mash podcast is back.
That works a lot better when we don't all just shout it at once. It really
What are you
does.
talking about? We were totally melodious.
All right, tell you what, I haven't listened to this bit of the podcast from last week yet, so go on, give me your best shot. Let's see if it's better than my one.
Oh, we've got to... Oh, no. Oh,
We
no.
have to relive this.
We have to destroy people with headphones once more. If you're wearing headphones, just mute for like 5 seconds.
I'm just taking mine out. All right, go.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
But
But
the
a
Mash
Mash
podcast is
But a Mash
back.
back.
Melodious.
Somehow I feel slightly more secure in my job.
That's job security right there. Absolutely. Can't let you go after a performance like that.
Took away
Turn
my
it into like a full like song.
Yeah, if you could do that, we'll keep you.
Then
We'll take you off probation.
Da-na, da-na-na, da-na-na, da-na-na-na.
But a Mash podcast, yo.
You can turn it into like
Word up, homie.
You can turn it into a full rap song. Yeah.
Nothing wrong
And
with
anyone
podcast.
beatbox.
No. Anyway, welcome back to the Button Mash podcast. We're going to talk about some gaming news and gossip.
No gaming news and gossip.
We managed to do without the gossip last week,
Oh wow.
but we have totally got gossip this week, so that's totally justified this time. So hey,
Yeah, well, gossip it up, boy.
we're going to start with something that isn't gossip, though. We've got because this ties into what we were literally just talking about, which was free-to-play apps and things. Apple have added a section to their App Store, which is the Pay Once and Play category, which basically is going to sort of segregate games that allow you to just buy them and play them. What a novel concept, I know, but you can now do that on iOS, which actually I like the sound of a lot. Doesn't say anything about whether they've got adverts running in the app, but I would hope not. But whether that's something they filter out or not, I don't know. But at least there's no in-app purchases, so they're not going to pester you with those. So things that you can buy and then just play. Like, say, 80 Days,
A normal
which is
game.
an excellent game. Yeah, or just a normal game, yes. Although, define normal in this day and age.
Well, they've re-released a bunch of the old Final Fantasies and stuff.
Yeah, I
mobile.
was thinking more in light of the fact that we've got a game that just launched for $60 and then it wants you to buy another $70 or whatever dollars worth of DLC.
Power
So-
of Greed.
Yes. Indeed. So, yeah, I mean, most of the decent games I've ever played on mobile have been things that I would file under Pay Once and Play, so I would like to see that on Android as well. If Android can follow suit with that, I think the marketplace would become a much better thing. Because Android has got a
agree.
really awful marketplace. It really does. I had a browse the other week, and it's just like going through the top games. It was like 90% what I can only describe as pregnancy simulators, which is a
What?
really disturbing concept. All I know is there are various pictures of various cartoon women pregnant, and it's baby birth
Are
games
those
and stuff.
they're the Frozen ones you're thinking of?
There was a Frozen one, there was all sorts of other ones, yeah, there was like monsters and things, and yeah, you name it, you name any kind of creature or humanoid creature that there could be, someone has probably made a pregnancy game out of it.
This is horrifying and intriguing.
Yeah, I was like, it's not even, it's sort of, in a weird kind of Tamagotchi way you could say, oh, maybe sort of a baby raising game. No, this is literally about the pregnancy bit of it. It's like, why, of all the bits to focus on, is that a thing? I can understand
Well.
the maybe raising a baby. That's fine. You've got like dolls and stuff that girls play with, or boys. You know, if they want.
I'm not
Equal
sure how you
opportunities here,
simulate.
But yeah, I was gonna say
that.
you could. I don't know. Presumably, somebody could make some sort of doll app, but at the same time, then taking it to the pregnancy level is just like a terrifying and disturbing step up.
But how do you simulate the
I
pregnancy?
don't know, and I don't want to know. If
Do you have to
want
like
if you
rub
want
the belly regularly or something?
If you want to do some hardcore investigative journalism and come back to us with that one on next week, because that's well, you're into babies, so
Only nailing them to walls.
well, maybe that's part of the app. I don't know. maybe that's the microtransaction. You complete the birth bit, and then for an extra 99 cents, you can nail the baby to the wall. There you go. App ideas right there. Here on the Button Mash podcast. What? I hope to God you have a soundboard of some sort. Because otherwise that was scary as all hell. Okay.
I just make weird noises.
You make very disturbing noises. Very, very. We're not having you back on this podcast after that. You're gone. Get out. Pack your bags.
You already took my bags.
Well, get out. You're not having your bags back.
Damn.
Yeah. So if they could do this and clean up the Android App Store as well, I'd be very happy with that. Because, as the article that we've got here clearly states, Google Play Store still lists many titles like Candy Crush Saga, Clash of Clans, and Farmville as free, in quotes. No, they're not.
No.
Not really. So, yeah. That's the thing. Let's move on. Unless you guys have got anything to add on that.
No.
No.
I don't do microtransaction games usually.
I don't, but I don't object to the idea of mobile content being good, which is kind of where I was going with that. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't do free games, but I would prefer to see a proliferation of high quality content on mobile because it's clearly
A whole
doable.
slew of crap ones too.
Yeah, well, like I say, I mean, obviously, I recently played quite a lot of 80 Days, which is a phenomenal mobile game, and, you know, if people want to make that kind of thing, I'm very much okay with it. More of that, please.
The main reason I'm not big on mobile games is, I don't know if you can hear this. Are you able to hear that?
Have you got a flip phone?
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
That's impressive.
Well,
Looks like a champ.
you can play Snake.
Not even that.
Not even that. Older than a Nokia. Okay.
Is this just a flip calculator?
Pretty much.
Okay.
Okay. Flip abacus.
You can play
Just have to throw beads at somebody until they know what you're saying.
How many beads am I throwing at you?
7!
Wrong! 9!
Mobile games. So, okay, if no one else plays mobile games but me, let's move on to gossip.
Gossip!
Oh, gossip.
It's Letitia said to me, she.
I think Michael's on an entirely different wavelength.
I'm just picturing 90s horrible sitcoms.
Okay. Well, this guy's been doing games since the 90s, even before then. Peter Molyneux! He's been in in games for a while. He's been in the news all week. So, you'd be
Lucky
hard-pressed to have
man.
missed him. That's... I don't know if I would phrase that way. He's not really
I liked
been...
Black and White.
Yeah.
Black and White was great.
I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Fable 2.
Fable 2?
I haven't played Fable 2. But, yeah,
I enjoyed
this is about his more recent works. Specifically Goddess.
Oh god. Yes.
Indeed. So, Goddess is his game that he funded on Kickstarter 3 years ago at this point.
Kickstarter.
So
In-
many broken dreams
Yes.
and promises.
Well, that's where we're heading. We're going down the tunnel of broken dreams here. So he promised that Goddess would be made with £500,000 in the span of about 9 months. Or was it 7 months? I still can't remember which one it was. It wasn't a long
Inordinately
period of
short
time.
amount of time.
It was a fairly short amount of time. Yeah, we're now 3 years later. And it's still not finished. Oh, it was 7 months. Yeah, it was 500,000, 7 months. Boom, Godos will be done. Here you go. New God game, spiritual successor to Populous and whatnot. Multiplayer online stuff. It's going to be the new hot thing. It's going to be hot stuff. It's kind of lukewarm. They still haven't implemented combat properly. They haven't got multiplayer working. And yeah, they ran out of the Kickstarter money a very long time ago, I think.
What does San Francisco rent?
They're not San Francisco. I know we've sort of ribbed a lot of companies about that before. They're in Guildford.
Oh.
Yeah, oh, indeed.
Well, they spent all that money on that.
That Guildford rent.
Cookies.
And cookies. Guildford rent and cookies.
That
So-
killer combo.
But yeah, like I say, it was only 500,000 when he's got a team of 22 people, hence his company, 22 Cans. So he's paying 22 people, by his reckoning, 30 grand a year is roughly kind of the salary he's paying, apparently. And, you know, if you're paying 22 people 30 grand a year, you go through 500,000 really quite quickly. Which makes me feel like his team's slightly too big for what he wants to make. He keeps going on about how it's such a tiny team, it's a really small one. But I think 20 for an indie dev, 22 is actually quite a lot of people.
Yeah,
It just seemed like he
that's-
he wasn't really big on the leadership thing. Like he's really big on the creative side of things and how you need to have time for creative ideas to come. And I'm sure that's true. And he does seem like he doesn't seem like a malevolent person, but
Oh, no, I don't think he's
No,
ever
that-
gone into this with bad intentions. If you read through the interviews and whatnot, he genuinely seems like he's gone into everything with the best of intentions. It seems like he wanted to make something cool, but things have just kind of not gone his way.
well, I mean, it's sort
big
of that
dreams and very little realistic expectations.
Yes.
it's not like being like a consensus-driven leader compared with being a big authoritarian leader. Like sometimes you can't just let
Big
everyone be
authoritarian?
their own special butterfly and do things at their own pace and in their own time. Sometimes you actually have to be a leader and say, look, we have a promise here, and maybe we can't meet the hard and fast deadline, but we do actually have to get this done. So I know we have these big dreams and whatever, but we need to just sort of try to make a product that maybe it isn't as grandiose as what we had hoped, but at least it gets done.
It just sounds like it was never project managed. It seems like of all the stuff that he's got, it seems like he never really did any kind of project management. The big interview in Rock Paper Shotgun with what was his name? John Walker. He did say at one point, we've got one of our admin staff is also doing a bit of production on the side, and it's like, producers a really important role in the development of the game as far as I'm aware. I thought they aren't they the ones who have the main creative drive and focus and make sure the project's going to schedule. And it's like, oh yeah, our secretary was kind of had a bit of downtime, so she's going to run the project. It's like, whoa, hang on.
Yeah, you're misinformed. Producers do nothing.
A lot. It seems
Okay.
to sort of, it's sort of a lot. It's similar to what the Yogscast had with their Yog Venture thing, in that they sort of gave a lot of. Maybe he gives a bit too much trust to people when they say that they're going to get something done, and it's profit motive. People are lazy by nature, and they don't really want to get it done. And it's sort of, if you're put too much trust in the people that are at the end of the day just looking to get a paycheck, then sometimes
I don't think that's necessarily
I don't-
true.
I mean,
was
I
gonna
don't it's sort of that what I'm saying is sort of that if they can genuinely believe that they're doing the best they can or whatever, then sometimes I worked better with the deadline, and I know that if I didn't have a deadline, I would still try to make quality products, but I would do it slowly because I wouldn't have a deadline. So it's a lot like that, where sometimes you need to have this hard and fast limit, not just to get it done. I don't know. you can disagree with that. It's
I
probably
think
best.
the big difference is in the Yog Ventures thing. Someone actually pretty much just cut and run with the money.
Yeah.
Is that what happened there?
Whereas-
Because I wasn't sure what actually happened at the end of the Yog Adventure. I remember it getting
They
cancelled,
got
but
a-
I wasn't sure the circumstances.
They got a little bit of work out of somebody, but they gave them money up front, which is a big no-no.
Right.
And they pretty much just did the baseline stuff and then ditched.
I
And took
think
a
that it was
whole
the-
crap ton of money.
No, not the
with them.
architects, the devs that they entrusted with the game, the Wintercool people, hired someone for like, $30,000 to do artwork, and then he just like did like 2 weeks worth, and then he like left, and they'd already given the money, and they had no way to get him back.
Right.
It's just like he just had the money now, and just like, okay,
That's,
that's where like a tenth of your budget has gone. Yay!
That's certainly part of the risk of Kickstarter, but I don't think that's necessarily relevant
Yeah,
to what's
that's-
happened
I-
here. This is just
Yeah.
Peter
I would
Molyneux
What
go
happened
with
here
my
is
thing.
doing
him
what Peter
promising
Molyneux
too
does.
much.
Peter
He does
Molyneux
that a lot.
has got like a history for the last 15 years or so of
Spore.
overpromising. Yeah, of overpromising on everything and under-delivering. Did he do Spore as well?
If memory serves, yeah. What?
You sure?
I think it was him.
That was Maxis. He never worked for Maxis, did he?
Oh, I was wrong. Yeah, you were right. It's Maxis.
Yeah.
But I remember
was gonna say, I
there
didn't
was a
think
thing
that
with
was one of
Fable
his.
2, though. Him overpromising. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
most of
always
the things
get-
he's ever made, I think he's always kind of promised the Earth and then really struggled to deliver it. I mean,
just-
in the interview, he frequently talks about, all the projects I've ever done except Fable 3 have run long. Fable 3, we were forced to work to a deadline, and it came out crap because of it, and I wish we'd asked to go over deadline, which seems to be kind of a running theme with everything he makes.
Well,
Does
Fable
seem
3
to
was
be a
kind of
common
crap, but yeah.
trend among the whole God games genre that things just get overpromised and undelivered. It doesn't even matter if it's Peter Molyneux. You have that with Maxis too. Well, EA now.
Well, it was published by EA, wasn't it? Is Maxis part of EA? I don't know
Yeah,
how that
well,
works.
EA eats developers.
That's true.
So basically, they bought Maxis. Maxis was with them for a few years, then they dissolved Maxis, and it just became EA.
Oh, okay.
And they could still list Maxis on there, but I'm not sure.
I was saying
one of the-
Maxis was still credited with the last SimCity, weren't they? So
Yeah,
it can't have been that long ago.
I don't know about the last SimCity. I didn't actually play that one because the server
played
crap.
it was a while back. I played it long after launch when it came on discount, so I just picked it up cheap.
But the first big company they did that with was Westwood. Does anyone
Right,
remember
yeah.
Westwood?
I know the name, but if you
Command
ask me
and
to name-
Conquer.
Oh right, they're Command and Conquer, right?
Nox.
So I wouldn't have been able to name any games, but I know the
Yeah.
name. Yeah.
But yeah, they basically just eat them up and then they milk the franchise.
So yeah, now we've got Peter Molyneux telling everyone that he's done talking to press. He's kind of going a little bit Phil Fish here, in that sort of throwing the toys out of the pram kind of way.
Unfortunately, I think Molyneux will be back in a heartbeat.
Well, yeah, because every single one of these articles that's gone up this week about Peter Molyneux, they're like, Peter Molyneux said today that he's not going to talk to the press, but he also did two more interviews with other press sites later today.
That'll show.
So he's been talking to the press all week, and he's been telling every single one of them that this is the last interview I'm ever going to do. It's like,
Until his 4 o'clock one.
I don't know. Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, yeah. I don't know if it was like after this week's up or whatever, but I don't know. On the one hand, I kind of feel kind of bad for him. He genuinely sounds like he has good intentions, and he doesn't mean to let people down, and he really, really does believe in what he's doing. But at the same time, he was given £500,000 to do a project, and he's just completely cocked it up by the sounds of it.
He wants to make an awesome game, but he just can't quite make it.
He needs he needs someone to say. He needs a project
Peter,
manager. He needs
rein
someone
it
to say,
in.
"This is how you're going to make it. This is how you need to make it. This is how much money you've got. With that money, that's going to buy you this amount of time. And this is how much framework you've got to work with to make this project."
Perhaps it's a bit like George Lucas in that, when he was making the original Star Wars trilogy, he had people telling him no, so he was able to rise to that. But with the original, with the prequel trilogy, he just could do whatever he wants because he's George Lucas, and they turn out crap because he had terrible ideas and no one could tell him no because he's George Lucas.
Yeah. Well, Peter Molyneux, it does sound like you can even see this in the John Walker interview. What the impression I get is that he's constantly buzzing with enthusiasm for all sorts of fantastic ideas all the time. He's a game designer. That's what he does. He is a really creative, intelligent person. He's coming up with fantastic ideas all the time. And the chances are what he's doing is in the middle of the interview, he's still thinking about stuff and he's like, oh, that'd be really cool. Mid-interview, he'll say, oh yeah, and I'd really like to add this to the game. And the press is going to go like, Peter Molyneux says he's going to add this feature to his upcoming game, and presumably the developers, coders, artists behind it, I've never even heard of this until the interview, and it's just something Peter Molyneux has come up with on the fly. Because part of the Goddess project is that the winner of his previous game, the Curiosity Cube thing...
It wasn't so much a game as much as like a... I don't think you call it a game. It was more like a cube.
I'll grant you that. It was difficult to call it a game. I played a bit of it. I don't know what the appeal was, but one person won, and he was
supposed... The appeal was a curiosity.
Brian Henderson, I think was his name, yeah. And he was supposed to be God of Gods in Goddess, and he was going to get a fraction of all the money from the multiplayer part of Goddess when the multiplayer thing goes live, which it hasn't yet, so he's got no money from that. And... I don't know, I was going somewhere with that. Where was I going with that?
That it's pretty bad that he hasn't got any money.
Oh, yeah, John Walker was like, oh, so what are you going to do with that? And you can read, because the interview is just a literal transcript of the interview, he's like, oh, what we're going to do is, you know what I'm not going to say? it's like he's literally thinking of an answer on the fly there. And suddenly, you can just kind of see the click in Peter's brain where he's just like, you know what? If I say we're going to do something here, you're going to hold me to it. So I'm not going to say what we're going to do for Brian Henderson here, because that way you can't hold me to anything. This is a sudden almost dawning realization mid-interview that I'm going to say something else that's going to come back and bite me in the ass if I say this now. Which is, again, I feel like it was like him literally trying to think of something. He's like, oh, what can we do to make it up to this kid? This kid's... He's not even a kid anymore. He's 21 now. He was 18 when he won the prize, for God's sake.
Older than I am.
Yeah, this guy is... We need to make something up to this guy. We owe him something. He's like, what can we do? What can we do? We're going to... No, I'm not going to tell you what we're going to do. So, yeah, I get the impression Peter Molyneux maybe doesn't contemplate the consequences of what he says before he says them. I don't think he knows how to talk to the press properly. I don't think he's ever learned how to do that. Where every other team might have like a marketing and PR division that they're there to talk to the press, Peter just opens his mouth without thinking. Which is not great.
He usually has really good ideas. He just doesn't have realistic ideas.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know if do you guys follow Peter Molyneux on Twitter?
No.
Tulkas does not use Twitter.
Peter, there's someone probably a few years back now, I think it's still going, made a Peter Molyneux parody account, which is just tweeting for the most part, just tweeting really, really silly game ideas, and it's like, they all sound really like something that Peter Molyneux could actually genuinely come up with. And there was even a news article a while back. It was like Peter Molyneux is coming up with some game development school, which was like it was going to be built into the side of a mountain, and you would be able to take baths with famous game developers or something. And it was like, what the hell is this?
Would you like to scrub notches on the side?
That's about the shape of it. Yeah, that's not far from the truth.
Ew.
Oh,
no offense to Notch, but I don't want to scrub your underside.
Not even for $1 million? Because that's just pocket change to him.
I'd give him a sponge bath for $1 million. I'm not beneath this.
So yeah, you two could go to Peter Molyneux, the Peter Molyneux Institute to bathe with Notch or something. I don't know.
If this goes viral and I end up getting offered $1 million to give Notch a sponge bath, I'm gonna come after you. I'll have the money for it.
Okay. So I have something else I wanted to talk to in regards to this. Oh, I think it's just in regards to Kickstarter. So there's a little bit of this is Peter Molyneux blaming Kickstarter. It's like, oh, that's just how Kickstarter works. People are sort of encouraged to overpromise and underdeliver because because of the nature of the beast. It's, oh, if you're even a penny below your target, you won't get any of it. So there's kind of this idea that I will say anything for money at this point. It's like, if I promise the world, we'll get 500,000. If I don't, if I promise slightly less than the world, we'll get 499,000 and not get anything from that. So
That's why a lot of devs are actually trying to go after Indiegogo rather than Kickstarter, because they can partial fund.
that's that. If you ask me,
It's a
that's
little
even
shadier.
sketchier. Yeah, at
It's
that point,
sketchier for the people backing it.
oh yeah. Well, it's just the fact that you're saying that the budget we need to complete this project is X, but if you only raise 10% of X, you're still going to take the money and use it. What for? What, you're going to complete 10% of the project? Where are you getting the other 90% from? What are you going to do with my money? If I give you money and you don't get it, yeah, that's just really dodgy when they do that.
I've even kind of backed off just doing Kickstarters in general. I do enjoy backing some of them, and I've had some really good experiences with it, like, well, Darkest Dungeon. But I've also had some really bad experiences with it. There's a couple games that I really looked forward to trying, but they only finished 2 levels and still haven't like released the demo or anything to us.
Oh. I was like, I'm struggling to think of any actual games I've backed on Kickstarter. All I can think of is Planetary Annihilation, and I haven't actually played that.
I backed some cake crisps on there that were pretty good.
I was like, from what I've heard, food is usually pretty reliable to back, and I'll be honest, my personal good experience with Kickstarter, I've always been books. Books are always a pretty solid option.
I've had bad luck with books.
Oh,
well,
right.
I've only done graphic novels though, so.
Well, I backed the Choose Your Own Adventure version of Hamlet, and which that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that does sound cool.
Which I nicked a free copy off you from.
Yeah, there was some cock up with shipping that literally the second copy of it turned up last Saturday through some weird quirk of employment and circumstance and shipping. So I ended up with 2 copies of it, yeah. Basically, my old boss had managed to apparently hoard it in his desk until long after he'd been fired himself. Someone else was cleaning out his desk and they're like, oh, hey, there's a parcel directed to John here. Oh, we should probably forward that to him.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, wow, it's quite impressive. And also, it was some little sort of anime type, manga type things. I don't know, there's some artist who did some really cute cartoons. I bought a book of that. That was cool. I'm sure there was a third one. I can't think what it was now. I backed a few books, and they've all come out pretty decent, from what I can recall. Oh, Jonathan Coulton, Code Monkey Save World. That was also a good one.
Hadn't heard of that one.
Some artist decided that Jonathan Coulton's songs, you could make a really good graphic novel out of all the characters from all his songs, so they did. As simple as that. It was like,
They just
okay.
went and did it.
Yeah, they just went and did it.
That's cool.
So that was cool as well. Yeah, those are my good books I got off Kickstarter. So I'm okay with books from my experiences, but yeah, games. Hit and miss.
So far I've been pretty good with games. I mean, obviously Shovel Knights.
Oh, right, yeah.
Still obviously waiting on Hyperlight Drifter as well. Should be coming out this year.
Should.
I'm looking forward to that one too.
It looks gorgeous. Did you back it?
Yeah.
And you played the demo?
Oh, yes.
Oh, it's great.
A whole lot of it.
Yeah.
I already have Warlocks and stuff like that. I have a lot of them that I backed. But I'm not impressed by Double Fine.
No.
At all.
We have talked about Double Fine at great length, which is, yeah.
I have Massive
Kickstarter is a big
Chalice,
topic for us.
So, my first Kickstarter was Hex, oddly enough.
Don't know that one.
The trading card game was supposed to be an MMO trading card game. Still very much in production, and it's been like almost 2 years out.
Right.
So, it's playable. It's just not so good on the interface.
Oh, actually, I think I might know what you're talking about, actually. Yeah, it rings a bell now. I think I just generally try to avoid games.
I backed RimWorld.
Right.
Now everyone seems to have it.
I feel like I must have backed more of them, but I can't think what they are.
I'm currently backing Star Mazer, because that's done a lot of cross promotions with the guys from Hyperlight Drifter and Shovel Knights, and one other thing that I forgot, Paradise Lost, First Encounter.
I do
I'm
like how
afraid
we've
to
got.
mention how many I've backed.
I do like how we've got these bits in our show where we're invariably like, Kickstarter's bad, okay? Be careful on Kickstarter. And then we just proceed to go on about how we've backed some fantastic stuff and it's a really great system. And it is when it works, but it so frequently isn't.
Well, Exploding Kittens, obviously.
Yes, thank God I didn't have to back that one.
I've totally backed that one, and they've got like all the stretch goals now, so I get like a little box that's magnetic. And a surprise that they're not going to reveal to me until much, much later.
Oh, I backed Elegy for a Dead World, but I had already played the game in a damn near finished state when they ran the Kickstarter for that, so I was quite happy to back that.
That's just cheating.
Yeah, I backed Guns of Icarus Adventure Mode, which, ooh, that's been a while now. That one's estimated delivery June 2014. Ooh, okay, that was running a little bit behind. Telepath Tactics, a strategy RPG, estimated delivery April 2014. I literally got an email like less than an hour before we started recording today that said, "Hey, I've got a launch date for this, which is April 2015." So they're running a year late.
Yeah, most of them do end up running way late. So
A Hat in Time, which was supposed to be like Banjo-Kazooie, estimated delivery February 2014. Okay, maybe I've not had such great luck. I'd just forgotten that I'd bought these things. Whoopsie. The fantasy coins from the Eastern Realms. Those were fantastic. I liked those. They were a physical thing, so they were cool. And then there's the board game that goes with it, which is due in 2 months' time. Okay. We'll see how that one goes. That's my Kickstarter experience, mostly. So yay! Backing things that have never shown up and I'd forgotten I'd bought. I guess that's what you gotta hope. You just gotta take everyone's money and then hope that they forget that they bought your thing. That's how you scam people on the internet. And there was a bunch of stuff that I backed that was unsuccessful. Like Border Remembrance, that one was pretty.
Oh yeah, it never relaunched either, as far as I know.
Oh, okay.
I did keep an eye on it for a while, but nothing.
Oh, okay. Shame. That one looked cool.
Yeah, but we've got Hyperlight Drifter to look forward to.
Okay, well that's fair enough then.
it seems like the small teams that you've never heard of almost seem to be more successful than these big teams that people are throwing together for like major projects.
Well, they have more to prove, I guess.
Yeah. But one might argue that the bigger teams have got more to lose, but hey. It doesn't necessarily always seem to work out that way.
I've almost
Double Fine is still around somehow after so many fucked up projects.
I'll say Massive Chalice, it's not a horrible game, but it's nowhere near what they promised.
Oh, I don't know about that, but I was thinking of Space-Based DF9 and the fact that they only delivered half of Broken Age were the two big ones I was thinking of.
Yeah. And it's going to continue like that until people say, screw it, we're not backing you anymore.
Absolutely.
Back the indies. That's pretty much the only advice I can give.
They are indies, though. That's the problem.
Massive Chalices. I mean,
Double Fine.
Double Fine is not an indie.
I would have said they were, but okay. I generally go by the do they have a publisher kind of viewpoint, but hey.
Oh no, Double Fine for me is reaching kind of like the point. It's like Blizzard, but not good. It's
kind of that weird semantic issue when teams get too big. It's like up until recently, at any rate, people arguing back and forth: is Mojang indie? Well, they were. At what point do you draw the line? Is there a certain annual turnover at which point you have to say, okay, because you're earning too much money, you're not allowed to be indie anymore?
I personally, mentally, I think it comes with how many games has this team released.
Oh, right.
Because, yeah, 1 or 2 games, you're a small studio that's kind of doing this. But once you've started establishing, like, a consistent release, like you have 3 or 4 games under your belt, chances are you're not so much an indie as you're funding these future games with your previous games. You're an established business.
I wouldn't necessarily say that precluded them being indie, because I would still say Dejaban were indie, but they've released like 8 games, but they're like still a team of 6 people, and you know,
Touche.
they're still yeah, it's a little team that are just putting out quirky, interesting things every so often that just about makes enough money to cover the next one, I presume. So
I can see that one.
I'm not sure. I don't think there's any really good metric to judge this by. It's a state of mind. It's an attitude.
You learn which ones to trust and which ones not to, I guess.
Unfortunately, the only way you learn is by people getting burned, unfortunately, though.
Mm-hmm. I've gotten burned a few times, so it's like, it's tolerable, I guess. You live, you learn. You don't ever back that person again.
Yeah, true. Anyway, speaking of slightly sketchy developers, Valve are having a look at their greenlight system because it's awful. So the new rule that they've implemented, in order to try and clean it up at least a little bit, is that a ridiculous amount of developers are now offering Steam keys when they get greenlit if you vote for them now. It's kind of, vote for us now and we'll give you a key later for free, just in exchange for voting. Which is basically a way to try and buy your way through the greenlight process.
Yep.
Because actually,
That's one reason.
Because to be fair, if you don't get greenlit, you don't get the Steam keys, so you've got nothing to pay people off with anyway, so there's not really much of a downside to doing that.
Except Steam loses some money from lost sales, and
yes,
you're essentially bribing the system to work for you.
Yeah, just from the developer's perspective, it seems like it's a good deal. But yes, Valve don't like it because basically it means games are getting votes that they didn't otherwise deserve, things are moving up the queue that didn't deserve to be where they are, and they've got to... Good lord, they've got to do some work, they've got to actually check out the games to make sure they're actually good. Which, Valve don't much like doing that.
Especially not anymore. They used to be, but...
They used to be, yeah. And then they did Greenlight, and they were hoping that would take care of itself. Turns out it didn't. Because people were gaming the system.
I must say, I've never really understood, exactly why Valve, the game developer, is still affiliated with Valve, the Steam curator. It seems like
because they're the same company.
But I mean, it just seems like the sort of thing that are two very different. I don't know. I me. Sometimes I like say things and I'm like, nah.
The fact is they are all part of the same entity because of the way they work. I mean, there was an article came out the other week where it probably resulted in a ridiculous amount of email to Gabe Newell, which is going to achieve nothing. But someone was like, "Oh, hi Gabe, I heard you respond to emails. I've got this technical problem. Can you fix it for me? Because your team haven't yet. You're the actual Steam support team." And Gabe promptly got back and was like, "Oh yeah, sorry, yeah. I mean, at Steam, everyone at Valve is a Steam support because we're all in this together, and everyone does whatever at the company. So here we go. I fixed it for you." And then they posted that, and it went on the news sites like Kotaku and whatnot. And all of a sudden, I'm quite certain Gabe had a nasty inbox that day. And I suspect nobody got any Steam support.
Yeah.
So that's the nature of the company you're dealing with there.
You also have to realize that Steam was originally a distribution service just for their games. This is back when it was really crappy whenever it first launched.
Yes, I picked
up... Battle.net for Hearthstone.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I picked up Counter-Strike Source, I think, a long time back. I think they probably had started selling other games then, but not by much.
I got it with the Orange Box.
Right.
I never downloaded it before then because I was on dial-up back then.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, that would stop things, yeah, definitely.
Auto updates? This is going to take 3 weeks of downloading.
Indeed. So yeah, it's nice that Valve are doing this, but I think Valve have said themselves Greenlight doesn't work, and I think the whole thing needs to be scrapped. I don't know what they would replace it with. I don't know how you
they need to do something about all the faff on Steam in general. All these point and click, not necessarily point and click, but hidden object games that were flooding it for a while there.
There's clearly a market for that thing, otherwise they wouldn't be selling it, but yeah.
Well,
I mean, just
loading it on there doesn't cost them anything.
Sorry?
Loading it up on there costs them nothing, so if they make one sale, they're making a profit.
I imagine it's probably not as straightforward as that, but yeah. There will be some administrative overhead cost involved, but probably not a lot, no.
No.
And, yeah. Again, it's not my cup of tea, but I'm not going to judge people on what they want to play if people want to play that. I mean, clearly some people want to play Honey Pop, for God's sake.
I think they should have a limit as to how much an individual publisher can put up on there for a given span of time.
That wouldn't be a bad suggestion, but would that really stop things, or would it just spread it out over a longer time span?
Spread it out over a longer time span, but it would also allow other games to float up through the crap.
I suppose given in any given time span, yeah. Although I don't think that's been too bad a problem lately. It was kind of, It was more right at the start when Valve did their thing where like, here, everybody can put whatever they want on, as long as you're a publisher, you can put anything or something. So every publisher just dumped their library. So there was like a few months there where this front page was just nothing but crap. And now the publishers have got their crap on Steam, it kind of seems to have died off a bit.
Sunk a little bit.
You don't get that. You don't get a publisher going, here's all the things from the last 20 years we've made. You don't get that anymore.
What do you guys think of, just random tangent about things getting dumped on Steam, what do you guys think about the remakes of Homeworld coming up?
I didn't play the original, so I don't really know.
Oh.
I've heard good things about it, but I don't know enough to really judge.
No, I can't say I've ever played it.
No, afraid not.
Oh, that makes me sad on the inside.
With remakes, I think if you do enough stuff to something to remake, it's justified. But you do get a lot of remakes that don't do much, so I don't know. Without knowing what the original was like, it's hard to say.
On Steam, they're basically going to be, if I heard it correctly, they're going to be releasing the original along with the remastered version, but you can only get them at the same time. Do you think they probably should have allowed them to like release the old Homeworld before to possibly build up more hype or something, or do you think they should keep it limited to that?
I don't know. I think that's surely more the actual developer stroke publisher's choice in the matter, surely. Surely they have the ability to do that, don't they? It won't be Valve that are saying you need to release them both together. It seems like a weird decision to do as well.
Yeah.
Given that if you got the new one or the old one, surely most people are going to buy the new one?
Well, the old one is going to be slightly different from the new one, because they're going through and reworking a lot of the stuff.
Okay, fair enough. Because, I mean, as far as remakes go, the one that's a little bit disappointing for me lately is Grim Fandango. I mean, if it weren't for the sheer technical aspect of it's impossible to make the original Grim Fandango actually work on a machine these days, they haven't done much other than upping the texture resolution. It's still a bit... The animations still run at like 10 frames per second.
I don't mind them running slow if it fits the aesthetic.
It doesn't, though. It looks really out of place. The rest of the game runs at 60 frames per second, and then something like a door opening will run at 10 frames per second. It's like, what the heck? Ugh, how did that work?
I'm going to have to watch that. See what it looks like.
It's really weird looking, yeah. It's like some bits of it they updated and other bits they didn't. And, graphically speaking, it's not really that drastic an upgrade.
Update all my bits.
Yeah, so it's a higher resolution texture, but that's about it.
That's
Visually, it's not a dramatic difference. I mean, I understand that, it's impossible to get Grim Fandango to run, so the fact that you can just go and buy it and play it now is obviously nice for a lot of people, but...
We're probably going to see more of that coming in the future to try and future-proof some of these games, because that's becoming a big issue for PC titles.
Mm-hmm. If we're talking about the old-school point-and-clicks being updated, I would say what I would like to see with your Grim Fandango is if they'd implemented a bloody hint system like they did with the Monkey Island remasters. Because the Monkey Island one is like, oh, you're stuck? Here, click a button and we'll tell you how to solve this stupid puzzle that you couldn't possibly figure out. With Grim Fandango, it's like, better open up a web browser and get on game FAQs, because screw you! It's like, come on, if you're gonna remaster it, at least let me figure out at least give me a way to figure out your stupid puzzle without bashing my head against a brick wall.
Yeah.
Like mixing the freaking expanding foam with the balloons. What the shit? That was a horrible
It's the
puzzle.
point and click problem just in general. You have to remember to try and think how the developer thought. That's usually impossible.
Grim Fandango is just so ridiculously obtuse, though, compared to any other. Monkey Island, you can usually figure it out. Most other point-and-clicks I've ever played, you can usually probably figure it out. We've got Randall's Monday, or something I played not so long ago. That's reasonably straightforward. Grim Fandango is just so thoroughly nonsensical, it's just impossible to do without a guide, I've found.
What about Botanicula? You played that, didn't you? Or was it Machinarium you played?
I played both of them.
Yeah.
They were both okay.
How can you make any sense out of Botanicula? That was just a surrealist kind of game.
It's been a while. I can't recall whether I did or not. Botanicula, I think, was more. I don't know. I genuinely can't remember that enough about that game to say whether I looked up stuff or not. To be honest,
I have no mouth and I must scream.
I've not played that.
Wow, I'm just mentioning games you guys have never played. Dang it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a creepy ass point and click. It's one of those that yeah. It makes you think. And if you have any like weird social triggers as far as situations setting off like some kind of post-traumatic stress kind of thing, you might not want to play it either. Because it tries to dive into like the darker sides of the mind.
Fair enough. I'm thinking with the Botanicula, was that not just more general puzzle stuff than specifically the kind of your obtuse point-and-click logic kind of thing?
No, there was like a bit with these strange teardrop-shaped creatures, like tadpoles, with just one eye, and you had to click on them to make them sing in a specific order. And I just could not, for the life of me, figure out that was what they were doing.
You know what? I don't remember this. I'm gonna have to go back and replay this, I suppose.
I think you'll remember it pretty quickly.
Okay.
Once you start getting into it.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
I think mentioning singing tadpoles is the perfect place for me to leave for the night.
Okay, alright. Well, we're running a little late on what we're doing. We took quite an interval in the middle. The viewers will be like, what? They haven't been talking for that long? But yeah, we've been here a while.
My apologies.
I think it was more me and Al during the interval, wasn't it?
I was there.
Oh yeah, you were. Okay. Well,
it was. I'm the straw that broke the podcast's back. Yeah.
you're breaking up the family here. The horse has to leave. Sorry.
No.
I'm trusting you
We're not
guys to wrap
shooting the
this up.
horse.
Yeah.
He will be back next week.
He will be back in glue form.
Right. I want you guys to make me proud,
Horses.
or at least less ashamed. One of the two.
But let's aim for the latter. I don't think we'll ever achieve the former.
Well, given that you've been playing Honey Pop, I don't think we can ever wash away that kind of shame.
Well, why do you think I'm leaving?
All right.
To play more Honey Pop.
Obviously. Feed that Honey Pop addiction.
Feed the addiction.
Well, apologies everyone. See you next week.
All right. See you next week.
Yeah.
Alright, that seems like a reasonable place to move on to our new releases, because we've been talking about other stuff for far too long. So let's do that, I suppose. We've got start with my giant bomb list, which I totally haven't opened because I'm a super prepared and organised show host type person. So if anybody wants to start the list off without me, that would be useful.
I haven't got it open yet either.
Factions
Hooray.
Origins of Maloo.
Go on, what's that then?
It is a early access game about factions, and it's an open world sandbox with strong focus on strategy and skill and freedom to build and play how you want to play. That sounds delightful.
Which page are you looking at? Because I'm not seeing that. Are you on the giant bomb?
Okay.
I think he's on the Steam one.
Oh, you're on the Steam list. Oh, right. Oh, yes, I see it on the Steam list. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I was going to say, first on my list is one that Will interests, because it is Total War.
I believe we had a speech about this one last time.
Yes, I believe we were expecting a further speech about it this time, to be honest.
I said everything I had to say last time, because...
Are you actually going to be checking it out or not?
Probably not. I don't play games as much as you do. I mean,
Love, he's got none
the
for the
thing is,
hun.
like, all my gaming time these days has been, like, dedicated to, like, getting quartz. And, like, just for my various quartz
He has become
builds.
a dwarf. Except
Well-
instead of digging deeper, he's just digging for quartz.
Yeah, in the Nether, you know.
Yeah.
But
Lava.
I don't know. I've said it before. Total War is the only franchise I care about. I've played Rome Total War this week, which actually I'm amazed. I actually found it easier to get into a Rome Total War game than into a Civ game, and also there's a surprisingly large amount of noobs for being an 11-year-old game. But anyway, Rome Total War like the best game of all time, and no other game could even come like vaguely close. Like
Not even Total War Attila.
it doesn't even like kneel versus everyone else. It's like Total War, just Rome Total War. I mean, Total War Attila. It's just it's
I
creative
will say it appears
assemblies.
to have Vikings, so I'm quite impressed by it.
Yeah, but it's.
I wasn't even aware Attila the Hun was sort of involved with Vikings, but I'm not
he
a
was
historian.
actually.
Okay.
I actually have a class in German literature, and we've actually been talking about Attila. There's actually a big thing on how Attila the Hun was actually from the area that the Vikings sort of moved into. He was sort of a big part of that. He was sort of a semi-mythical Hun leader who was sort of both a big, generous guy. But yes, he is actually a big part of German and Viking literature, surprisingly enough. But yes, it does sort of feel like with the more recent Total War games that, in a way, Rome Total War and all the other games is sort of like the big money maker. It's a lot like Firaxis with Civilization, where Civilization, like any Civ game they make, will sell a bunch of copies, so they just keep milking that. It does feel like recently the Total War games is just them trying to milk their big cash cow, and I don't know, but yeah, Attila Total War, it seems like it's sort of a step in a new way, trying to do things a bit new maybe, but it might be good, might not be. If a loyal fan of the Tulkas Valley channel wants to buy it for me, then I don't think I have any fans of the Tulkas Valley channel. But if you become a fan of the Tulkas, I don't know. But yeah, that's
Follow
my
him, get him
rant.
a
That wasn't supposed to be a rant.
Follow him and
because
buy
it
him a
became
game, for
rant.
God's sake, someone. Also, can I just take a moment here, just a moment, to appreciate that all of the pictures all of the screenshots, the images in the giant bomb gallery on this game are tagged Viking Forefathers.
That's the first DLC for the game.
Oh right. I was going to say, is someone specifically searching through a video game site for pictures of Viking forefathers? But okay, that would make some sense.
Hey, Vikings, they're cool, man. It's just still a ton of Vikings. Or Atiyi, or whatever, as he's named in the Legend of Sigurd and Gudrun that I actually have to read more of for tomorrow. So yeah, that's my homework.
Right, well, I'm probably going to hang fire on that until they do a discount and bundle it in with the Spiral Knights hat like they've done with all the other Total Wars. Because that's how you get me to buy a Total War.
Yeah, I'm ashamed to
Bundle
say
it with
that
other
that's
stuff that you actually want.
That's
Total
why
War,
I've got them in
it's
my inbox.
my
I was going to say,
beloved.
I bought 3 Total War games just for hats.
I only
I
bought
don't
2.
like cats.
I got
I got Rome, Medieval, and
the Napoleon
else?
one.
yes, would have been the Napoleon one. Yes,
I have beaten Napoleon, and I also own Empire. Yeah, but do you the original Rome or the Rome 2?
it would have been. I think it was the original Rome. They both came with the same hats, so I just bought the cheaper one.
That's exciting. We should play sometime. Yeah.
Maybe I wouldn't have a clue how to play, but you'll have to
Oh
teach
no,
me.
it's a Steam thing now. So you just like play Steam, and you just it's easy. Yeah, it's just fun.
Yeah, I
he
know how
meant
to launch the
actually-
game, thank you, but
Well, no, because up until like last year, it was on the GameSpy Arcade servers, but then last year they actually moved the servers over
Alright.
to Steam. So.
no, I physically mean I wouldn't have a clue how to play the game. I don't know how it works. I don't know the mechanics. I don't know how.
Well,
Like I say, I bought it for a hat in an MMO. That's
Well,
why I own it.
You group up units and then you click the attack button. It's
Oh, so exactly like I play Command and Conquer or Warcraft
Yeah,
or everything
yeah,
else.
yeah.
Pretty
Big
much.
pile of grunts, throw it at an enemy.
yeah.
I am strategic. I am 300 APM Korean.
Yeah, it's a real-time strategy. Well, it's sort of like the way it works, and I guess I need to
It's
explain
siege
this.
warfare,
that
basically.
The way, the way that a Total War Warfare goes, it's sort of broken up into 2 different games. One is a Civilization-style sort of strategic map gameplay, where it's just, you have your cities and you build up your cities and you sort of war with them. And the other half of the game is a RTS style game where you use the army that you built in the larger game and go into what is essentially an entirely different game and build and do that, but in their own RTS style games where you don't build anything in there, you just have your units and do it. So it's a very simple game in that regard, and my obviously I love it very 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 muchly. But the Rome 2 has a campaign map support, but the original one only has the battle map, so that's easy. Yeah.
Okay, well,
Rome
that's
of the
enough
War,
on one
Master
game.
Race.
Can we move on? Sorry.
Sure. if you insist.
We got a lot more games to do than just Total War, so we've been talking for like 10 minutes on Total War.
My beloved.
We have Dead or Alive 5, Last Round, which appears to be a re-release of a game which was already out on other things that's now on next-gen consoles with more characters and hats or something. I don't know. I don't really follow Dead or Alive. I don't know if anyone else does.
Someone needs to start making pants for games like this rather than hats.
Pants DLC, sure.
Yes.
Okay, I'm looking at the screenshots. Yes, I can see why. Sure. That would be a thing. We have
Yes.
Q*bert's rebooted, apparently. Because
I like
that was
Q*bert.
badly in need of a reboot, I guess? Okay, sure. I guess that's Q*bert. I think people probably should know what that is. We have Pillar,
I don't.
a mini-game collection themed around personality traits? What? I'm not sure what this is. The screenshots are thoroughly unhelpful as well. It looks
They
like an
look-
RPG Maker title.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
Looks like a really bad RPG Maker title.
it does. It's in fact a mini-game collection, though. What the hell?
Maybe it's like RPG Maker minigames.
Maybe. Kudos to them for making something interesting, I guess, if that's true. Okay, sure. Why not? Hand of Fate.
I backed that on
I've heard of
Kickstarter.
this. Yes, this is cards, isn't it?
Sort of. It's more like
Okay.
Diablo meets cards.
Diablo meets card. Okay.
Yeah.
I know for a fact
Actually,
they
more like-
approached me a while back and said, would I want to look at it? And I think I ignored them a little bit.
More like
because I don't know
Arkham
cards.
Asylum meets cards. Actually, now that I think about it. Because you have a dodge
Okay.
mechanic and stuff like that. It's okay. Not really great. It's got an interesting like movement mechanic where basically what happens is the dealer shuffles all the cards, which are your weapon, your armor, stuff like that, random cards, and the map cards and encounter cards. And what it does is it randomly lays out the floor plan, and as you move through it, flips the card over and tells you what encounter you're going to have. So it's really it's good. I did a little like preview of it back whenever it was still in, I believe, beta or alpha, one of those. But I think Waterbots did the most coverage of it.
Alright, well, there you go. If you want to go check that out, go check Alzorath's channel out, or possibly Wonderbot, but we don't care about him because he's not here today.
Exactly.
So, Treasures of Montezuma Arena is match 3 with RPG story mode. This is Puzzle Quest, right? That sounds exactly... That just sounds like a description of Puzzle Quest.
With
It doesn't look...
Indians
Yeah, I was going to say, it
and-
doesn't look remotely as charming, though. But, yeah, okay. Puzzle Quest, if you want that. Paparazzi is some kind of pixel art game about taking pictures of people who probably don't want pictures of them taken?
2-player co-op game where one player plays a paparazzi on the prowl while the other a celebrity trying to avoid him.
That doesn't sound like a definition of co-op, but okay.
More like competitive.
Yeah, it sounds... Yeah. Sounds like there is a winner involved in this, but okay. Sounds intriguing.
Could-
That
yeah.
sounds like a less violent version of something like Spy Party?
Could be.
I don't know. Interesting. Trivial Pursuit Live. I suspect that's trivia of some sort. Call me
Quite
crazy.
possibly.
Yeah.
Thanks to Ubisoft. So, expecting you play Trivial Pursuit here.
Right. and a launch day embargo.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Got Dead Man's Cross, which is a zombie-themed card game for mobile platforms. Got Blue Estate. Viktor Kalvachev's Blue Estate, the game. appears to be the
What?
full title.
The
It's a
heck is
rail
it?
shooter. It's an on-rails shooter.
Oh, no.
Designed for use with the Leap Motion peripheral. Which one's that then? I don't know that one. Leap Motion?
You said rail shooter and I walked away.
Yeah, sure. I'm trying to figure out what that was. Oh, is that? Oh, the Leap Motion is that little bar that you put on your table, and when you wave your hands over it, it does things, right? You think you just plug it in via USB or something, and it's like gesture control stuff. I don't know. Okay. So you can have rail shooting with gesture control. Sounds...
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah. Next one's pretty good. Robot Roller Derby Disco Dodgeball.
Really fun game.
Yeah, I played a good bit of that. That's really cool.
Though if
Bright
you,
neon colours and throwing balls at robots with excellent mustaches.
in public games, though, you will sometimes get raffle stomped by one really good player.
That does seem to be the way of things. Although I imagine with a public release, chances are there will be a... Well, I suppose it's already out because it's early access, but I imagine with a proper launch, chances are there'll be a lot more players and you'd be less ridiculously excellent players to destroy you.
A lot more new players to actually, balance out the curve.
Yeah. The Order 1886. That's a thing.
Why does that sound familiar?
Because it's a big title for the PS4.
Okay.
Is this the one that was like going on and on about how they wanted it to be cinematic? That like
Could
they
possibly
put
be.
black bars on it and ran it at 30 frames per second because apparently cinematic vision and whatnot. I think it was this one. I think that's the only reason I'm particularly familiar with this.
I thought cinematic was supposed to be 24 frames a second or some crap like that.
I don't think you could genuinely, legitimately get away with running a game at 24 frames per second without being utterly destroyed by reviews. 30 you can get away with. If your game continually runs at 24 frames per second, you might not. That might not go down too well.
I would do it and then just put like right towards the bottom of the credits at the very end, just for you, TB. See if he ever caught it.
So this is a third-person shooter in a steampunk alternate timeline with a dash of supernatural for the PS4. Kirby and the Rainbow Curse. Sorry, did you have something else?
I was going to say, if it sounds good, I hope they make a PC port. If not, they can keep it.
Well, I hope that given that PC actually has better technology at its disposal, I hope they can get rid of the black bars and the frame rate limits.
Yeah,
But obviously cinematic, right?
I just really like steampunk kind of things, so...
Now, don't get me wrong, I like some steampunk myself, but I also like games that run well.
Yeah, that's a very important factor.
Got Kirby and the Rainbow Curse, which is more stuff about probably drawing things with Kirby, because that's how Kirby rolls these days.
He's gone into, like, from little fat guy who eats things to, like, an acid trip. It's really kind of creepy.
I can't say I've ever followed Kirby too closely outside of playing him as a character in Smash.
I played him
That's
back
my main
on,
Kirby
like...
experience in life.
I played him back on the old cartridge consoles. And didn't play him since until I started hearing about, like, Epic Yarn and stuff like that. I'm like...
So I'm saying this looks like it's in the same kind of vein as Epic Yarn.
Kirby, you've changed. You're no longer a fat ass that eats things. You are an acid trip.
So this is 4-player co-op where players control Waddle Dees that carry Kirby around and one player controls the paintbrush. So yeah, it sounds like very similar kind of thing. The fact that they're carrying Kirby around makes it... all I'm mentally picturing now is Fat Princess for that, though. Is Kirby just now Fat Princess?
Yes.
Okay.
That's sad.
Roundabout is on the Xbone, which is the weird driving game where you play a limo that is constantly spinning for some reason that is, I don't think is ever particularly elaborated upon. That's just what it does. It's got some really terrible FMV sequences, and I know one of the developers from Uber Entertainment, who did Planetary Annihilation, is one of the characters. I know, because I followed him on Twitter, and he was talking about it a lot.
I'm not sure I'm actually ever going to play this one.
It looks entertaining. It was supposed to be quite good, so I feel like I probably should check it out at some point in my life, but nah.
Not worth getting an Xbox for.
Well, it's already out on PC.
Oh.
Yeah. If you want to check it out, buy it on PC.
Okay.
Okay, moving on to Steam releases. First up we have David, although given that Tulkas picked a different game off the top of the list earlier, I can't help but wonder if that's like released in the last few hours since I put this list together.
I
probably
do believe
did.
I don't see it on here right now, so.
Yeah, chances are that since I've had this tab open, that list is probably updated. We need to record these on Sundays, not Mondays, guys. Makes things better. This is you play, David, an awfully small, abstracted chosen hero, tossed into a blissfully simple world overrun by giant culminations of evil physics beasts. Some weird, fairly abstract physics puzzle thing, I think. Looks bizarre.
That's what it looks like.
Indie puzzle stuff, like always. Although, hang on. That says that's launching, but it also says it's 80% off at the minute. It's launching with an 80% discount? What?
It's launching for 99 cents here in the States.
It's also not even launching. It's a release date 14th of March 2014. Why is this on my release list? Has it been in early access?
It says it's out here. It doesn't say early access or anything.
It says it's out here, but on my upcoming list, it still says release date 16th of February, which is why I had it on my list. Huh.
Here it says
Steam.
release date March 14th, 2014.
Yeah, I know. When I click on the page, it says that, but on the actual list of things, when I just bring up the full list, it says 16th of February 2015. That's Steam being crap again, I guess. We've got allegedly Reverse Side. Supposed to be coming out tomorrow, I guess.
Nope.
No, or is it even today? Oh, it's today. It's supposed to be out today. Yes, well, we'll see about that. This game will unlock in approximately 9 hours. We've seen that before.
Whenever it releases, do you have to play the aforementioned puzzle dating sim?
My penalty for firstly that wager is over because I won it, and my penalty if I lost the wager was that I had to buy Exploding Kittens on Kickstarter. Which I was kind of opposed to because I didn't think it looked like a very good game.
Shut up. Shut up.
I know you like it. I don't. I think it looks bland as hell, and its only redeeming point is Matthew Inman's art, and I'm not a big fan of that in the first place.
It's like Stockholm syndrome. It just grows on you. If you're exposed to it for long enough, you learn to love it.
Well, that is true of a lot of people, but quite frankly, if you want to go get me a card game that's drawn by Zach Wienersmith from Saturday Morning Breakfast Cereal, I'll buy that. That's the thing I would quite gladly throw money at, but no, not the oatmeal. Not for me.
I already did throw money at it, and it's nearly too late to take it back. Plus, magnetic box with surprise inside now.
I haven't been following it. It's magnetic box with surprise inside.
Yeah.
Is that a stretch goal thing?
Yeah.
Is this going to be a surprise inside? Is this going to be a Cards Against Humanity box of bullshit?
I hope not.
Which is literal.
I'd really not find like a cat turd in my magnetic box.
This may have to be arranged.
I think that's what you're going to find.
Yeah.
Either that or a cat that has exploded in there.
That would be rather messy.
Yep.
First of all, you'd have to fit the cat inside the magnetic box, so you'd essentially have to implode the cat before you exploded it.
But until you open the box, you don't know if the cat has exploded or not.
It's a Schrodinger's box.
Schrodinger's exploded cat.
Yeah, that's the third state. You don't know if it's alive, dead, or exploded.
It's like a blind bag.
Alrighty.
You got to collect all 3 states.
Schrodinger's cat, gotta catch them all. Okay, we've got Mystery of Neuschwanstein.
Bless you.
It's from a German company, surprisingly enough.
It's a hidden object game.
It is. I think it's puzzle stroke hidden object. I think it's got bits of both in. It's kind of. It's your Professor Layton thing, which seems to have taken off these days. Once upon a time, they just made hidden object games. Now they shoehorn a bunch of puzzles that nobody wants to play into it. Just give me some hidden objects. I don't mind hidden objects. It's a bit of casual, okay.
I would play it on my phone. I wouldn't. If my phone could run it, I would play it on my phone. But I can't sit at a computer and play those. And
fair enough. I mean, I got sent one a while back, which was Questerium Sinister Trinity HD, and that's just really over-the-top, cheesy FMV sequences built into it. So that was quite entertaining in just a really bad kind of way. So I don't necessarily object to that kind of thing. But yeah, I'd like the hidden object bit more than the puzzles. The puzzles are just a bit bland sometimes, but I guess it varies from game to game. I've not played enough of them to know which ones are good and which ones are bad. I have Idle Hands, which is a strategy game where you take over the world by guiding people and defeating gods. Hey, god games.
So it's like a remake of Black and White.
Potentially. Maybe not as good.
Yeah.
It doesn't appear to have any kind of creatures.
No, not seeing any yet.
No, it's probably closer than to Populous than anything, I suspect. But I don't know. It's a weird genre that keeps coming back at the minute. Everyone's like, hey, nobody's made god games in a long time, so suddenly everybody's decided to make god games. And now they're all here, and it's like your roguelikes and roguelites, or what have you. Everybody's doing it, so there's a lot of them that aren't necessarily that great, so it's hard to judge sometimes. We have Hasselheart, which is a game about a robot that needs to rip out humans' hearts in order to survive.
I'm watching the video for that one right now because it kind of intrigued me.
I've heard of it before, but
when it says you're
really
ripping
quite
hearts out,
appreciated
it's quite literally.
Oh yeah. You are literally a murderous robot whose only method of survival is going around ripping the hearts out of human beings. Yeah, it's pretty literal. And you get points for tearing out their hearts. It's basically Bender.
You get to kill Grandma, apparently.
Yep. It was weird because the start of the trailer had something that would look like entirely else. It had like someone fighting some giant monster with like a minigun or something. I don't know quite
like
where
Contra.
that tied into it. Yeah. Not sure quite where that ties into the whole tear hearts out of humans deal. But okay. I think that was originally a mobile title, because I swear to God I've heard of it before somewhere. I do not know.
Me neither.
We got Camera Obscura. Camera Obscura is a puzzle platformer with a photography mechanic which sounds exactly like Snapshot. Which is you take pictures of bits of the scenery and then you can use that photograph to put that bit of the scenery somewhere else so you can solve physics puzzles and stuff.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't look remotely as charming, though.
What's this medieval engineers thing?
I skipped over that because that was early access, but I think it's very, very similar to Space Engineers, but medieval.
With gravity.
Yeah, it's Space Engineers with gravity.
Okay.
I don't know. It's a sandbox game where you're basically knocking down castles with catapults and stuff, I guess. It is early access, so make of that what you will.
Games like that tend to stay in early access, sadly.
Yeah. Although generally speaking, I think most people seem to think Space Engineers is pretty decent. I don't know, does that actually have any worthwhile gameplay yet, or is it still just pure sandbox stuff?
I haven't been brave enough to actually shell out the money for it.
Oh, I'm watching the trailer for this now. This actually is from the same people who do Space Engineers. Wait, hang on. Space Engineers, is that actually out yet? I thought that was still early access. Are they doing 2 early access titles at the same time?
I will check.
I'm intrigued now. Yeah. No, that's still in early access. So they've got 2 Engineers titles, both in early access. Oh, these are the same. Oh, these are the guys that did Minor Wars, which was not great. It has a 38% rating on Steam, and I tried it, and it was not a particularly fantastic game. No. So yeah, okay, that's interesting that they would do that. have thought the obvious choice would have been to finish the first game before making the second one. That's concerning.
Usually a good idea.
Yeah.
I have a feeling it's going to end up one of these things where they'll do some updates for one and then they'll go silent and they'll update the other one.
Maybe.
Hopefully. Otherwise, Space Engineers is just going to get abandoned and they're going to try to make more money off of Medieval and they're going to move on to something else.
That's what I'm a little bit concerned about. I'm wondering if it's like, oh, the sales of Space Engineers are sort of starting to dry up a bit. It had a bit of hype, people bought it, and now they're stopping buying it. So how can we get more money? Oh, let's make another game in the same sort of genre.
Use probably the same engine, too.
Yeah, that's what mostly concerns me. Are you just going to leave a unfinished game so that you can try and pump money out of another unfinished game? I don't know. I'm being really cynical here, but hey.
Gives us reasons to be.
Yeah. We've got Agarest Generations of War 2, which I played a little tiny bit of the first one, and I did critique it, and it was like one of the first games I ever critiqued, because it was like one of the first review copies of anything I ever got of anything, so I was like, oh god, this is amazing, and I totally didn't sink anywhere near enough time into it to really do it justice, and I really feel bad about that.
Yeah, I only have the original one of that, so...
I probably played like 3 hours of it before critiquing it, which for some games is probably plenty, but for a massive...
tactics game, it's not gonna...
Yeah, a massive RPG title that's supposed to take tens of hours. Yeah,
they're pretty
I
popular
probably...
on their home system, so...
Yeah,
I think
I should
PlayStation,
spend more
maybe?
time on it.
I'm not sure which one it is on.
I think it was originally PlayStation, yes. So it's an tactics RPG kind of thing with like a generation system. So you've got I guess like a light dating mechanic in there. You marry one of the women in the game, and then that creates your offspring who becomes the protagonist in the next part of the game, which always sounded kind of interesting. I don't know how it works, because I didn't get far enough into the game to find that bit out, which, you know, I probably should have done since it was a fairly integral part of it, but I was new to reviewing, and I do not feel proud of that one. Hey-ho. We have Rescue Team, which is weird, because I got offered a review copy of this one earlier today, actually. I don't think it looks remotely interesting, I must confess. It's clearly a mobile port of something.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah. I checked out the one review of it from GameZebo, and the description of the game on Steam is like, oh, it's a totally innovative thing, but the GameZebo review was like, oh yeah, the mechanics are exactly the same as this other game, except it's less interesting. I was like, oh, okay. Right. So I don't know how this works. It's about rebuilding islands after a disaster. It doesn't look terribly compelling. We also have Hot Tin Roof, the cat that wore a fedora. Presumably it feels euphoric.
What?
It looks interesting, I will be honest. It's something about a cat who's a private investigator. And I'm not sure what to make of it. I can't quite figure out what it is. First, it's like, is it a point-and-click adventure? I'm not sure it is. I think there's more action involved in that, because it talks about having, like, guns and ammunition and stuff, so... It's very strange, but... I like the sound of it, I will say that much.
It is
intriguing.
interesting looking, to say the least.
Hmm.
Very blocky.
Very blocky, that's kind of the aesthetic they're going for, clearly, yeah. Kind of, what was it? 30 Flights of Loving is what it immediately made me think of. It's not the same, but kind of reminiscent.
I can see
So
that.
Yeah, that looks interesting. We've got Hero of the Kingdom 2. I'm not familiar with Hero of the Kingdom 1, I must confess.
Me neither.
It's something
What?
apparently about pirates, though. Although it doesn't... Screenshots I'm seeing doesn't make me want to play it. Not selling me on it.
It looks kind of like the Banished art style.
Yeah, I'm still not sure quite what the game actually entails, to be honest. Something about a pirate crew is threatening the kingdom, your sister was kidnapped and you must embark on a journey to save her, but I don't know how or what. It doesn't look particularly action-packed, there's a lot of interfaces.
It looks like some kind of like RPG kind of thing going on here.
Yeah, kind of maybe isometric RPG kind of affair. Strange.
Free
Probably
copy,
one
I
I
might
won't-
check it out.
Yeah, probably not one I'm going to take too much time to
No.
obsess over. We have Hector, which is psychological horror. Not my scene, certainly.
Experience terrors, blah, blah, blah. In a world that literally moves with your every twist and turn, supposedly.
Scary, scary, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, there's some of the screenshots that shows all the screen is kind of twisted and warped, so it's just got some effects that kind of mess with your vision, I guess.
Okay. So just
know.
yet another one of those kind of cliche ones.
Probably. I don't know. Will's the one who's into scary stuff.
I can't say I'm enthralled by these screenshots. So
Fair enough.
still have a backlog of horror games to play.
Right. And finally, we've got the most compelling title of the week, Pixel Puzzles 2 Birds, which is a jigsaw game. Which I didn't even know jigsaw games were a thing on Steam, but apparently they are. Apparently these guys have already put out 2 other jigsaw games on Steam, and this is the latest and greatest and newest in jigsaw technology. Or something. This one apparently allows you to rotate the puzzle pieces. The last one didn't. The novelty. Also, for some reason, it has crabs that scuttle over the board. And I'm not sure if there's like another mini game where you have to like collect the crabs and put them in a basket at the side or something.
Is there
I
an
don't even know
achievement
why
called
that-
Congratulations, You've Got Crabs?
I can only hope so. I'm not sure what the context is. You're putting together jigsaw puzzles specifically of birds here. Why are there crabs crawling over your jigsaw?
I don't know. Doesn't show them actually doing anything to it.
The trailer ends with the cursor clicking on the crab repeatedly, and I don't know why it does it. There's this dramatic fade and zoom in on the crab as the cursor clicks it repeatedly.
Oh, yeah, I'm at that part now.
Yeah.
It apparently is following the cursor if you look at it, though.
Oh, the technology.
Oh, yes. Amazing.
So
Not buying
that's
it.
jigsaws. Yeah, I mean, I know my mum actually plays a lot of jigsaw games on her iPad, so there probably will be people who like jigsaw games who will probably want to pick that up. I guess this is for people who want like pictures of birds as well. Although worth noting, one of the screenshots, one of the puzzles is literally a picture of a dead bird, which is kind of gross. It's like, you could have picked something a little nicer than that, guys. Come on.
Well,
You got pictures of majestic-looking penguins and then a vulture of some sort picking over dead birds or something, I guess? Ew. Nice.
tasty.
Fantastic. Well, that's the games for the week. That should bring us to the end. So let's do our shameless self-promotion bit, shall we? Let's go alphabetical. Alzorath,
Okay.
tell us what you're doing this week and where people can find that sort of thing.
I'm doing more Darkest Dungeon, Rosh Fusion. Might get some more Binding of Isaac, Town of Salem. All the good stuff. Some Shadow Era. But you can find me over at www.youtube.com/ALZORATH.
Yeah.
And no, I'm
Make
not.
sure you spell it right before you don't end up at Azeroth.
Yeah, you don't want to take a wrong turn at Warcraft.
Fair enough. Okay. Do you want to share your Twitter, or is that good?
That's good. It's the same thing on Twitter.
Okay. Talkus,
Rejoice.
what are you doing? Where can people find it?
My name is Tulkas. Yeah. I have Strangelands Minecraft with 110 minutes remaining on that video, and then there's also Rome Total War, which I will hopefully start uploading this week, and then that'll be like a thing for forever. And yeah, and I was also part of Team Suicide with Meroka, so that was fun. And
You keep dragging that one up. That was going back, but okay.
No. Well, you see, they're fans of you, and so this is, segueing. But yes, this is a youtube.com/TalkasValiant.
Cool. Go check that out. And we are Button Mash. Presumably, since we moved to the new channel, you can probably find our channel pretty easily. That would probably be the thing. We have just finished our last event, so if you're interested in the events and stuff we do, follow us over on Facebook, facebook.com/buttonmash. Follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/button_mash_UK. And check out our website as well, button-mash.net. Those are all things. We do Steam curation over at bits.ly/bmsteam, and I have a Patreon where you can contribute to my well-being and funds and things at patreon.com/buttonmash. Those are all my things. Cool. So, without further ado, without dragging this out any further, it just falls to me to bid you adieu. So, thank you to Alzorath.
Thank you for having me on.
Thank you to Tulkas.
Indeed.
Thank you once more to Will, who joins us as always.
Thank you.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Cheery bye.
So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen,
not
good
doing that
night.
Me, adieu to you and you and you.
That better not become a thing.
I think it's a little late for that.